information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show on a Monday. I'm going to use the opportunity, since Auburn handled ULM and Alabama handled Mercer the way they were supposed to. We'll get to those games and everything going on in college football in a second. But I'm going to use the opportunity that the schedule gave us to go back to Friday night first, since our last live show, and talk about a little bit of the Bama basketball loss, but also start with the debacle of a fight. We got the numbers in. 60 million people watched it on the average. 65 million were the peak on the Netflix spinning wheel of the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson embarrassment of a fight. It was the biggest thing that happened this weekend. It was 65 million Americans. Well, I guess not necessarily Americans worldwide, but 65 million people tuned in to watch that.
Well, I threw it out that maybe we hit 100 million. I think there's close to 350 million subscribers to Netflix.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what the other people were watching on Netflix that night. Yeah. Please get off the app so I can watch the fight.
Look, here's the good. Well, there's so many different directions to go on this thing. A couple of the undercards were great, including the cat fight between the chicks. I didn't get to see that because mine kept buffering in and out. So when I finally got it up, it was during the decision.
Can I ask a stupid question right
where
there?
Where Holly Taylor basically, according to everybody, ripped off the world by getting that decision.
Yeah. When you say it was buffering for you there, it was also buffering for me a lot of that fight. If it's buffering for Lance and me, is it buffering for everybody else at that time? Or are some people seeing it and just some people are not seeing it? If it's buffering for everyone, is it buffer? Like, is that an every buffer? Is that just so many people watching? Does anybody know?
It could be both. It could be both your network connection and the fact that so many people were trying to watch it.
A lot of dudes got fired from Netflix on Friday night. I saw the fallout the next day of all these guys that were losing their jobs because they were supposed to have the capacity to be able to deliver this. And the fear is now with the NFL playing on Christmas Day, with this game coming up, what's going to happen when you've got maybe not that many people obviously watching, but I don't think anybody was watching it real time, if you know what I mean. if you were in Arlington at the fight, then you saw it in real time. But everybody was on different times. That's why I stopped looking at social media, because I was afraid that I was going to see the result until we got into the third round, and I was like, well, this thing is going to walk its way to a decision now.
Yeah,
walk
is the key word there.
Yeah, because early on, and I know there's a lot of theories out that Jake Paul was telling Tyson not to hit him and different things like that. But the one thing that was glaring early on was Paul was grappling and was kind of holding Tyson because he knew, look, if I can get him into the second to third round, his legs are going to give. And once his legs gave, that's when it became one of the most boring, high-profile fights you'll ever see.
At least Roy Jones Jr. let you know his legs gave him.
Yeah.
Roy was passionate about Mike Tyson's legs.
I don't like Tyson's legs right now.
Yeah. Say it again, Roy.
I don't like Tyson's legs right now.
Roy, I don't know if they heard you, man. Say it for the 12th time that you don't like Tyson's
Roy,
legs.
I want to be on Jeopardy.
Would you guys – now, I think the older I get, I can accept this, but like 95% of the population absolutely hating you, but you just continue to churn money.
Yeah.
Like that dude can promote – he can make $1, and he wasn't even out of the shower before he was tweeting at Conor McGregor. I mean, he really wasn't. I mean, he was coming at Conor McGregor like, I'm not getting down to 170 where you want to fight me, but we'll go full MMA if you want to. And I think that's probably the next thing that comes down. Conor McGregor and Jake Paul. I know it sounds crazy.
Unless it's fixed, McGregor would kick his butt, though, right?
You would. Well, I don't know. I mean, Paul's a big dude. I mean, Paul's got 40 pounds on him.
But I'm not getting sucked in on that one.
I'll get sucked in on that one. I'm not getting sucked in on another high-profile fight with a guy that is 20 years older than him.
I think I pretty much said when this fight was announced, I said, "Oh, it's going to be horrible." And then I planned my Friday around it. I got off from golf with you. I ran home. I was like, I'd promised Maggie a date night. I said, let's go quickly to Chuck's. Let's go to Chuck's. Sit at the bar. Let's go. Because we got to get home in time to watch this.
Oh, no. Hey, you really didn't have to get home in time. I mean, you could have walked to dinner and you still would have gotten back. I mean, that started at a typical Vegas time.
It did. It was such a cash grab from our generation. Everybody involved in that knew our generation just wants to see Mike Tyson again. That's all that was. And then they baited in the younger generation with Jake Paul, too. It was actually a genius business move.
Yeah.
Genius business move by them.
I hate that I had to see Mike Tyson like that. I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Mike got $20 million to be like that.
His bare ass, I couldn't unsee that. But it was
it was very clear.
It was like seeing, God, I can't compare it to anything.
You really can.
I really can.
I mean,
it's really like seeing the Eagles at the Sphere. If it wasn't for the Sphere, the Eagles were pretty sad the other night.
Yeah, but they could sing. I mean, Tyson couldn't fight.
Dunaway says, not so much.
I just I hate it for Tyson. I didn't think he was in that. I mean, look, anybody's going to take $20 million when you can get $20 million, and Paul to get $40 million for that is an absolute joke. But we were the suckers.
Oh yeah,
we're the reason they got paid like this. And you hate it for Tyson. I thought he was doing well with like dispensaries and different things. But I guess you make $20 million basically doing nothing. Why would you not do it?
Yeah. Listen, there's a long line of things that when I say it's not going to work, it ends up working. One of those being what used to be the Bruno's, now the Regions tradition here in town.
Yeah.
When it was announced, I called back to my sports director, Ken Lass, at the time, and I said, okay, listen, this tournament that's coming to Birmingham, they're going to try to do it every year. It's going to be retired golfers.
Yeah. Who wants to see Jack Nicklaus play?
It's going to be retired golfers playing in a tournament.
Who wants to go see Arnold Palmer?
I mean, really, what's this going to be?
Yeah.
It's now been going on since 1992 and has raised millions of dollars for charity.
Yep.
It's a great social event here in town. The next one of these fights, I'll say it won't work. You know what it'll do? It'll make $60 million.
Okay, well, y'all remind me, though, when I bring it up, and I'm excited about it, and I had basically almost given up and tapped out, but, Jack was over there with friends, and they were so excited about the fight. My head was about to explode. I was talking to Taylor before the show because she was like, he kept rebuffering, and I was like, literally my head was going to explode because I was about to tap out. Like, it's not even worth watching now, and finally got it going. But if I bring one of these up again, will you guys please tell me you said that you're never going to fall for one of these fights?
I will
again?
tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
If the announcement, if we could ever find the date, the announcement, we may have said that on the show the last time, and we all got suckered into it.
I would not have paid pay-per-view. Now, only reason I watched it is because I already have Netflix and it was on.
Yeah,
so
I would agree with you.
I guarantee you I would not have paid
Scary
to watch
thing is I would have.
I know. A lot of people would have.
I won't again, though. Look, there was just such a novelty to see Jake Paul, who's trying to carve his way into this sport against, one of the most feared guys of all time. So it had a good ring to it. It was awful. was awful.
We haven't done a show since Alabama played basketball, right, against Purdue?
No, we did our pregame Saturday morning, but that was it.
Yeah, okay. So Alabama went to Purdue at Mackey and lost. Alabama only created 3 turnovers in that basketball.
It's hard to do.
But it was Purdue. There was 2 Final Four teams last year. Alabama's got a lot of great games coming up. How can I say this? Here's the, and you know I've said this many times, Brownie. We are a football-minded fan base at Alabama that I think overreacts to one loss in basketball way more than we should in basketball. It's a quality loss on the road in a great venue against what I think will be a pretty good basketball team when it's all said and done. Probably won't be a Final Four team, but it'll be a pretty good team. Showed me that Alabama has a lot more questions than I thought they were going to have after the 2 exhibition games we lost. Mm-hmm. But, man, the fan base reaction to that, there were a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people overreacting that this team was overhyped a little bit. Y'all have any thoughts after watching Purdue and Alabama?
I just, it's really difficult to go on the road. Alabama's probably not where I thought they were going into that game. I don't think Nate Oates is going to panic over that. I think in a lot of ways, that's the reason you play these games, right? You like to talk about a shakedown cruise. That's a good shakedown cruise. It gives you, it shows you where your cracks are. Yeah. And I think Alabama found where some of their cracks are.
He even said in the postgame, I got to do a better job.
Yeah.
Our staff does coaching. We didn't think the big guy who put 20 on him could do that.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean,
I didn't have him ready for that.
It's the whole reason you play these games, and college basketball gives you the liberty to play these games, and it doesn't kill you at the end of the year. In fact, it helps you even if you lose them. It helps you in college basketball.
Yeah, look, I know Zach Edey's no longer there, but Braden Smith, who didn't have a great game, I mean, numbers-wise and down the stretch, really played well. But just as far as shooting the basketball, he missed a lot of shots on Friday night.
He just didn't turn it over. LT, they had 3 turnovers the whole game.
And 18 assists, only 3 turnovers. But Alabama had a 6-point second-half lead, and, they played right with them. It kind of got expanded to 9 late in the game. I don't know. I think Alabama's still really good. I mean, that's a difficult place to play. They've won 21 straight home games.
I love watching a game in that venue. I don't know what it is. It just seems it's
not.
Well,
the fans love it. That's for one thing.
Yeah, they love their basketball. Yeah. And the refs, and 2 of those guys you see all the time in the SEC. So unlike in football, when you watch referees who are SEC refs or Big 12 referees, these basketball guys, they do all conferences, right? But there's something about the way the Big Ten plays. They sort of let you get away with contact. Got a little tired of Mark flopping there in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they're letting them bump here, so they're not gonna call this foul. So you got to play through that contact a little bit.
I keep seeing that referee that Lance told when he told us there were going to be no more foul outs. Lance was like, "Oh, this will be fun," and the guy was like, "For who?
For who?"
Like I've seen him do 2 or 3 high-profile games.
Yeah, is he blowing the whistle like he was in Huntsville? Here's one of the problems for Alabama is they've got so many shooters, but they're only shooting 30% behind the arc. Yeah. And it's like almost every game, that's what that number is. Alabama has got to get that percentage up, and I think that will come with time. And I still think Nate is trying to figure out this rotation. You've got a ton of talented guys, and to be able to balance these minutes, I mean, that's kind of an art.
And Chris Youngblood still to come to get back into the conversation there, the AAC Player of the Year.
Definitely a top 5 team. Definitely.
87-78, Purdue beats Alabama. Ken Palm today as we start. Auburn, Houston, Gonzaga, Duke, UConn, 1 through 5. Auburn's the number 1. Tennessee, Kansas, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Alabama is 10 in the Ken Palm. Number 25 in the Ken Palm, Illinois, Alabama, Wednesday night here at Legacy Arena in Birmingham. Maybe a few tickets still available for that one. If not, you can check our friends at ATIX for the best seats in-house. But that's Wednesday night. Tonight, Auburn, number 1 in the Ken Palm, plays host to North Alabama, 8 o'clock down at Neville.
What do you think that crowd will be like Wednesday night at Legacy?
I think it'll eventually be sold out if it isn't already.
Are you going?
I will be there. Yeah, you?
No, we've got trivia.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
It's a Wednesday night.
It is a Wednesday night.
So if you can't get a ticket to that, come see us at Otis.
Yeah.
We'll have a game on.
Where admission is free, right?
Wait, what time is tip?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
I think.
Why?
I think it's 8 o'clock.
Well, we'll have the game on while we're doing trivia.
Yeah.
So you get to watch it while you're doing trivia.
All right. While you mention Odie's, tell them about our friends at Odie's, and we'll get into football, everything we got going on in football, and a ton of it. Hopefully you caught earlier today, Monday Morning Live, or the Middle 8 with Tom Luganbill, Brandon Marcello. That's up on our platform. Later today, Brock Heward and LT with Unlocked at around 1 o'clock Central Time. Always on our platform there. Odie's getting you ready for another great week.
Yeah, 2 great locations. Hopefully you had an opportunity to get some of the incredible food, watch some live music over the weekend. The original location in Crestline will be there Wednesday night. We do it every Wednesday night. Odie's Team Trivia at 8 o'clock. Of course, the newest location right there in Edgewood. The food, incredible. Both locations, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. It is a Birmingham institution. Get into one of those 2 locations today. Go see well over that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, who is not only a great roofer, also loves SEC officiating. Great conversation with him the other night in the middle of the Tennessee-Georgia game about David Smith, who I think did a wonderful job officiating that Tennessee-Georgia game.
Tennessee fans disagree with you.
More on that in a second.
So does their head coach.
Greg Nelson and his wonderful wife, Andrea, locally owned for over 20 years, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's Central Alabama's most trusted name. That's why we've been telling you about him for a couple of decades now. Free inspection. No cost right there, free evaluation. He'll get up there and check out that roof for you. And then he'll tell you the honest truth. We had a customer just last Friday who was telling us how much he loved Greg, had just had him out to the house. Greg will take care of storm damage, roof replacements, insurance, roofing claims, restoration, inspections, and so much more. Go call him right now. Greg Nelson, Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, or look him up, Greg from Pell City on Facebook. If you can, give me cut 6, Tyler. Speaking of which, he's Josh Heupel of Tennessee. Was the most entertaining game of the weekend for me, Tennessee and Georgia. In that contest, listen, it's gamesmanship when you substitute late after the offense is substitute and you're just basically walking off the field like the Tennessee player was doing. I thought for the first time I've ever seen it was officiated correctly, the way I wish it would be officiated.
Okay.
I've never seen another official not wait until that guy gets off the field and put it into play. David Smith, the head official, said, man, you are intentionally trotting off the field at a slow pace to force Kirby to call timeout or get a delay a game. I'm going to put the ball in play. And then he had to speed up to try to get off, and he doesn't get off the field. A big 12 players on the field penalty against Tennessee, one of a couple that didn't go Josh Heupel's way. Here's Josh after the loss in Athens, and then I'll get a reaction to this game.
This group practiced well, practiced hard, prepared hard. They did a lot of the right things in the lead up to the game. Tonight, what happens out on that field, that defines tonight. It's the reality of it, and it's the nature of being a competitor. Where do we go from here? Man, let it soak in, let it hurt, watch it, grow from it, get our next opportunity. You know what I mean? Got 2 more guaranteed, but the only one that matters is next week. And so this group will continue to grow. We don't control what we don't control. We control our preparation. We can control how we get ourselves ready to go play next Saturday. Got a good football team in that locker room, man. It's a good football team.
Need to work on that offense.
10-0. They were up 10-0. And then 31-7,
Yep.
Carson Beck woke up.
Well, a couple of points we talked about going into this game, Tennessee's got the better defensive front than Georgia. Georgia 5 sacks. Tennessee didn't get to Carson Beck. Carson Beck, on the other hand, was another point. This guy's become a turnover machine. He played great football. I mean, the numbers should have been better. He had 3 or 4 drops. I mean, Georgia's receivers, not only do you not have any explosive playmakers, you got guys dropping the football all over the place. So 0 turnovers for Georgia, 5 sacks, 0 sacks for Tennessee. I thought those were major, major points in the game.
You are your team defense is your calling card for Tennessee. I don't think anybody's going to argue that one. But if you go on the road at a place like Georgia in a game and in that atmosphere in a game that had that much on the line for Georgia and perhaps for you as well in the long run, and you only put up 315, 320 yards total offense, you are asking your defense to play a Herculean game. You are really just putting your defense in a tough spot if you can't get any more yards.
Right, and you could tell they were tired on that final 92-yard drive, which not only sealed the game, it also got the cover for the Georgia Bulldogs. But, and look, that game was probably a lot closer. You mentioned the fact that they closed it on a 31-7 run. Tennessee is a good team. I don't doubt that, but they just offensively, it's just something outside. Like if Dylan Sampson was to get nicked up, that offense would be awful.
That guy had another 100-yard game. He's only been under 100 yards one time this year.
When they knew that Nico was a little banged up, they knew they were going to have to rely on him, and he still had over 100. I think Tennessee's a good team, more on the playoffs and such in a second, but here's Kirby Smart after the game. He's sending messages to that committee, that 13-member panel that is meeting now, and we'll put out a new ranking tomorrow night.
I think they're going to always do that because that's what I say about the eyeball test. But they're not in that environment. They're not at Ole Miss in that environment playing against that defense, which is top 5 in the country with one of the best pass rushers in the country, and they're fired up. They got a 2-score lead, and they're coming every play. They don't know that. They don't understand that. So they'll probably look at this week and say, well, we just played against one of the best defenses in the country, and we went for 453 on them, and could have been more. So it's just the tale of each week. And we're trying to be the cumulative, whole, really good quality team and not be on this emotional roller coaster that's controlled by people in a room somewhere that may not understand football like we do as coaches. We as coaches look at people and say, what can we do better? How do we get better? I respect their decision. I respect their opinion, but, it's different in our league.
Tyler, can you pause that right here? Because I want to ask you guys, I can't unsee this, but Saturday night watching the game, it was said out loud, Kirby Smart looks like an old English woman. And it, for whatever reason, it worked when it came out loud. I was like, oh, damn. And now that's all I want to see.
It's much
It
more
is almost
different.
like a missed outfire.
I've never looked at Kirby and thought,
I never had until somebody said it Saturday night.
I don't
see it.
Frumpy.
Frumpy?
Yeah, maybe that's
Okay,
it. Maybe
all
it's
right.
just frumpy.
Old English women are frumpy.
Yeah. With all that said, this Georgia team, when you wake them up, man, they could be the best team in college football, right?
How many teams have you said that about this year, though? That's
Probably
the thing.
5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 10.
But
I don't
you're
know.
right when they play well, and they do this in Athens. So a couple things there. Number one, this is Tennessee, who historically against Kirby Smart, and especially Josh Heupel against Kirby Smart, has had issues. And that's why I thought it might be different this year when they took that drive right down the field in the first possession. You're like, maybe this is a little different.
Tennessee's lost 8 straight to them, I think.
Yeah, they've had. I think the last win Tennessee had was the Hail Mary game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
in Athens.
Yeah, think about how long.
Josh Nail boot.
Yeah, think about how long that has been. And so historically, there's that. And then, Carson Beck's been fine in Athens. That hasn't been his issue playing in Athens. It's been away from Athens where, for whatever reason, he has been a totally different quarterback. So you had those two things on top of one another. And then you factor in Georgia's desperation in that game. They knew that they had to win that game. It was an absolute 100% must win for them. And the fans showed up knowing that, too.
They did. It was a great atmosphere there. Tyler, cut number 4 for us. This is Kirby Smart. This is his, not quite as good as Nick Saban, but this is his, I spent a lot of time with Nick Saban's soundbite of the week.
Okay.
I used to coach with Nick Saban. Soundbite of the week brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Hit it, Kirby.
Our kids show resiliency. I'm proud of them. Look, it was a week ago, a couple hours that we were dead and gone. People had written us off. It's hard to play in this league week in and week out on the road. We've accumulated a tremendous amount of injuries from the schedule we've had, and it's not going to really get any easier. It's a physical game, but when you play the gauntlet of what we played, it's taking its toll. We had a lot of guys sitting on the sideline tonight that couldn't play, but we also had a lot of guys that stepped up, and I think the way we practice has helped us grow some players who stepped up tonight and played big for us.
Dead and gone. Nick did it better.
Gone.
You had us dead and gone. I'm telling you. Yeah. Hey, I'm getting a little tired of him talking about his gauntlet, though. Kirby, this is what the SEC West has had to do every year for the last decade.
Welcome to No Divisions.
Welcome to the real SEC.
It was funny, though, because we did bring this up. Like, before the season, nobody was talking about Georgia's schedule because it was Georgia. And after winning the game on Saturday night, they've basically punched their ticket because now they've got UMass and Georgia Tech. They're going to win those games. So they're 10-2. I don't know. I've stopped even looking at the SEC championship game, the different scenarios.
Yeah, there's
the vast majority of them favor Alabama.
Yeah,
and
we can get into that in its own. But Brownie put out yesterday that Alabama controls its own destiny when it gets to tiebreakers.
As I did do the caveat, as much or more than anyone. I mean, there are.
But if Alabama wins out, they're in, right?
Yeah, the two most
likely.
The 2 1-loss teams play each other still.
That's
Texas
right.
and Texas A&M. Then it becomes the cumulative opponent SEC record. And to Brown's point, that's always changing. So there could be some upsets that could change the numbers.
It's hard to account for every outcome. I mean, you've
right.
got 2 weeks of SEC games, and you've got 2 outcomes per game that could affect things.
Yeah.
But that said, either Texas or Texas A&M playing Alabama is that's the destination you end up on the vast majority of the scenarios you run.
Yeah, if you're doing the hurricane pattern, like when we always look at the path, there's always a lot of lines going in one direction. There's occasional those that flip.
Right.
Most of the lines are going to Alabama versus one of the Texas schools.
One of the Texas schools, absolutely.
In Atlanta. And we can talk later on whether or not Alabama really wants to play that game or not. We can get into that. Tell us about Michelson Laser Vision.
Hey, do you or a family member need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? Yes, LASIK and Michelson Laser Vision might be a great choice for you. Book your free LASIK consultation today with Dr. Mort Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. Find out if you can use your FSA or flex plan funds to get the freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. Call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. I got the procedure done 21 years ago. I still have 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
And our friends at MyBookie, Brown, Week 13 sent out the TV schedule last night. Some meaningful games, but I guess none bigger than Indiana, Ohio State, right?
It is. I mean, you talk about college football playoff paths for Indiana. Beating Ohio State's one of their best ways to do it. Without that, they become a shaky team.
I think even a close game, they're probably locked in. Yeah.
Well, the point spread is 12 right now. I think that's ticked up from where it opened a little bit. Ohio State a 12-point favorite over Indiana and Columbus.
What about Ole Miss, Florida? All of a sudden, that's a sneaky tough game that could eliminate the Rebels.
Ole Miss 9.5-point favorite at Florida. That would be a devastating loss for Lane Kiffin and the Rebs. You are absolutely correct in that one.
Yeah,
9.5.
Looks different. I wish that was a night game.
Yeah, yep.
Well,
if you're a Florida fan.
It feels like that fan base, though, has turned behind Napier a little bit. If you watch that LSU game.
They should.
Well, I agree. The way they're playing right now.
Damn, man. I mean, he gets them 6-6 with one of the most, at least coming into a season, one of the most difficult schedules we've ever seen on paper. By the way, speaking of the night games at tricky places, if that game in Fayetteville this past Saturday would have been played at night, I think Texas loses.
Maybe so. Night games make a difference.
They
MyBookie,
do.
Brandy, tell us more about them.
Yeah, code next round at mybookie.ag. You will find Auburn a 2.5-point home underdog against Texas A&M. Alabama a 14-point road favorite at Oklahoma. All those games you can play at mybookie.ag. You can play Monday Night Football tonight as well. If you would like, Kirk Herbstreit said just keep putting Dallas in prime time and it keeps being a disaster. Well, they're a 7-point underdog against Houston, their in-state rival there. That is a 7:15 ESPN game. You can play it at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag. You make your initial deposit. They double that deposit, and you can play with that money right away when you use code next round to double that deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. mybookie.ag, code next round. mybookie.ag, code next round.
Tyler Booker in our next segment. He'll join us. We'll talk about Alabama's win over ULM. Tyler sent out a nice message to the walk-ons, who some of them got into action and got to play in that big game. And then there was Auburn against ULM. Peyton Thorne had a career day. He's back with us again tomorrow, 5 touchdowns. But everybody in that game talking about the 5-star receiver who finally had a game where he was targeted 8 times. He had 3 touchdown catches, and one of them is one of those highlights that you'll see forever.
Yeah, that was quite the grab. It is amazing, and most people are going to say it's the gloves. It's the gloves. That was
you see more of those catches now than you
do. You do. That was an incredible catch, and I think it was really important to get him involved because we talked about this. This is a different world now, and with Auburn struggling offensively and not winning games, there are people that are tampering, and they're tampering with a guy like Cam Coleman. And you got to keep him happy. And if you're Hugh Freeze, you go back, hey, look, this is just the beginning. I know it's been a rough year, but we know your potential. You're going to be our go-to guy next year because Keandre has been that guy this year.
But that's exactly what Luganville said on Monday Morning Live, and I know I sent the same thing out on TikTok, just seeing the same thing you're seeing, LT. You're a big-time 5-star recruit, one of the 3 best receivers in this last recruiting class to come out. Anybody wanted you. Everybody wanted you. You chose to go to Auburn. You almost had to sell a vision to him on what next year could look like.
Well, and keep him engaged, too, as throughout this year you've had trouble getting him the football. And that's, with a freshman, a lot of times that's difficult because he's dominated at every level he's been at. He's always been the best player on the field. And then you get to college and you're among a bunch of really good players, and now you're struggling to get the ball in your hands.
Yeah.
And in high school, they did everything in the world to get the ball in your hands.
Probably every other play was
That's
to
right.
you.
Yeah. and in college now, they're struggling to find a way to get it to you, and you got to stay engaged. You've never dealt with that.
These parents are becoming a pain in the ass in NIL. And you guys have heard some of the backstories. I've heard some of the backstories. You just wonder when you get a receiver like Cam Coleman, and next year you're looking for that quarterback. When does the parent get involved and say, "Hey, look, we're gonna help you choose a quarterback in the transfer portal"? Because if not, my kid is going somewhere where they've got a great quarterback situation. It's bound to happen, right?
Yeah, that's the day a lot of these coaches are like, "I'm retiring."
Oh yeah,
that is it for me.
I think you will see.
Yeah.
I think every year you will see or at least every other year, a coach that surprises you. They've retired.
Yeah, it could be. If I'm a coach, you can help me get a big-time recruit. I want you doing that, though. If you're a big-time receiver,
that's right. Yeah.
You can bring me a big-time quarterback recruit. Thank you for the help. We'd love to have him. Thank you. Be great. You bring me Shadur Sanders? I will take that. Thank you very much. Tyler Booker on the other side. One more thing before LT tells us about Inverness. Brandon Marcello announcing right now, as others are reporting, that the Big 12 is moving 13 of their football games and 15 of their basketball games from the ESPN streaming platform to TNT and TBS over onto their television platforms, not streaming only, for 6 years starting in 2025. That's good for the Big 12, getting some of these games that I'm always amazed that are on ESPN Plus, to get them on a television where you can watch them without streaming.
Okay, I thought about you guys over the weekend because the Alabama-Mercer game was on ESPN Plus.
That's right.
Yep.
And I remember y'all saying, all you got to do is go to your little bundle Disney package. And I went to Disney and National Geographic and Hulu and everything but ESPN Plus. So I Googled ESPN Plus or searched it. Nothing popped up.
It's on Hulu, and you go over to sports. You click on sports, and it was the first thing there.
I couldn't find it. Anyway, I went to regular YouTube, and somebody was broadcasting the game on YouTube, and it had like 19,000 people watching live. Is that legal?
No, not at all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
it's
19,000. I was like, this has got to jump. Like YouTube flags anytime.
Nope. No, I know you're right.
They do. Like how do they not shut that down?
I don't know.
But that's where I watched it.
Yeah, it's the streaming is crazy. My point being, like, there's a Arizona TCU this week, ESPN Plus. There's 2 Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, ESPN Plus. 2 Big 12 games that are not bad games.
Yeah. Why don't we just start streaming it on our YouTube channel?
Because we won't have a show on Monday.
We'll get shut down quicker than anybody. I don't know why.
Tyler Booker coming up on the other side. Tell us about Inverness Country Club.
Hey, look, they've got memberships that fit absolutely everyone. You can find your sense of community at Inverness Country Club. It's a great place to meet others in the community. Maybe you've relocated to retired. Inverness, a great place to network. Childcare, also a big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. Dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe on site is a huge plus. Best days happen in Inverness. Take a tour of this unbelievable club today. Call Aaron, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your personalized plan that works for you. There's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is different. Just go to the website at planforme.com. Planforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is free. Planforme.com. They've got the medical weight loss plans there with the injections that are supervised by Leslie and her board-certified teams. They've got meal replacements. It's all right there at Way to Wellness. It's all on the website, planforme.com. Planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Ryan Brown here for the next round. Join me and CBS sports analyst Brandon Marcello for the Middle Eight each Monday at 8 a.m. as we look back at the weekend of college football from the SEC to the top 25 of the college football playoff. It's the Middle Eight presented by mybookie.ag. Code next round.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
All right, barely made it to the show today because of my workout. Oh, wait, that's not me. It's Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker's here. Hey, Tyler Booker, man, did an amazing thing, a little post this week just thanking walk-ons. And if you're paying attention to what's going on in college athletics, the walk-ons may be no more soon with the new landscape, and that'll be a shame. Let's bring in Tyler Booker, Brownie. Let's talk to him about what we saw this weekend for Alabama and what's ahead, because big trip to Oklahoma coming up.
That's right. The Alabama offensive lineman coming out of his workout. What is up, Book? How are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. Again, covercrimson.com for all your Alabama coverage. Great YouTube channel, Cover Crimson YouTube channel with some original programming. Also the website with a message board, covercrimson.com. Join for $1 for the first month. See how you like it at covercrimson.com. When you play a game like that, I know faceless, nameless opponents, stuff you always tell me, but that is a game where, as you pointed out, if you take care of business early as starters and upperclassmen, you can sometimes get the young guys and the walk-ons in, and that is always very rewarding for guys like yourself that see how much those guys work.
Definitely, for us to be able to have the walk-ons and some of our younger guys in the game, that was huge for me, and that was huge for everybody, because everybody, when you turn on the game on Saturday, you only see us, you only see the starters, you only see the guys that play, but you don't see the guys who are working just as hard, if not harder, which are the walk-ons and some of the younger guys that are giving us a great look on the scout team. Whenever we're in individual period, they're the guys holding the bags for me and Caden Proctor. So they have their work cut out for them every day. But the thing about them that makes them so special, they walk in the building every day with a smile on their face, and they're happy to do it. So I love those guys, and I wish a lot more people in the world would be a lot like them.
Now, the answer might be last year, 2 years ago, but have you ever played in a game where 4 different quarterbacks actually have attempts?
Probably last year against Chattanooga, maybe. That's just the first game off the top of my head. But those are another group of guys who are in a tough position because they're only one quarterback can play at a time. And you just have to sit there and support your brother and be the best teammate you can be. So to see all those guys, to see Dylan, Mac get a chance, even Cade, and then one of my closest friends in the world, Ty, to see those guys go out there and ball, that was huge.
Okay, so everything's out in front of you. I want to ask you this question first, but it's going to be out of sequence because I know you got to win at Oklahoma and you got to win against Auburn. But would this team love the opportunity to play in the SEC championship game? Because with all the talk of a 12-team playoff, there are people discussing does Alabama even want to play in that game? As a player, does playing for an SEC championship mean something to you?
First and foremost, we're super focused on Oklahoma this week. That's what we're worried about. But as our program values our pyramid of success, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it that Alabama wants to be in the SEC championship, and when we get there, we want to win it. You know, like that's what you're measured by. In our indoor facility, there's a bunch of numbers on each side of the wall. One of those numbers are national championships, and the other numbers are SEC championships. So we definitely want to play in the SEC championship. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I like the pyramid of success. Like, I don't know if it's proprietary information, if you could share it, but do you have it memorized? Do you know what is in the pyramid of success?
I don't have it memorized by heart, but even if I did, that's something that's a little bit personal to us. But I just want to let y'all know the SEC championship is very important to us.
Okay, it is in the pyramid. All right, but the pyramid is personal. Got it.
Yeah, is it one of the high blocks? Obviously, it's not the one that is shaped in a triangle. Yeah.
So do you know who wrote the original pyramid of success? Do you know which legendary coach? Just randomly asking.
I don't. I'm usually good with questions like this, but I don't know.
Are you familiar with John Wooden?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he was UCLA legendary coach. Dunaway, how many national championships did he win straight?
I think he won. I don't know how many straight. I think he won 10 total.
Yeah, but he wrote. It's a really thick, long, very thorough read. I couldn't finish it.
Yeah,
Tyler.
we expect you to memorize it.
Yeah.
If you could memorize that pyramid of success and quote it back to us next.
So when you look at this Oklahoma team, obviously Oklahoma has really, really struggled this season, but it's still what is viewed as one of the better defenses in college football. I mean, when you watch film, is this comparable with some of the other really good defenses you guys have seen this year?
We don't really get in the business of comparing one defense to another, but we know that Oklahoma has a great defense. From what I've seen on film, they bring a lot of movement, and then their head coach is a defensive-minded head coach, and Brent Venables, and he had Clemson's defense really great for the years that he was there, being the defensive coordinator. So we're very excited for the challenge that they present this weekend. What do
you think you learned in Baton Rouge playing on the road that will help you playing at Norman?
Starting fast, being able to start fast in our whole procedure. So we really worked on our procedure. We cleaned that up from Tennessee to LSU, and we just have to make sure that we start fast again, because if you watch the two games, you see that we had the start was different because we didn't have those false starts. We didn't have those the delay of games. We didn't have those penalties. So we had a much better start in LSU.
You are playing in a stadium you've never played in. Is that cool? I mean, like you've played in a lot of stadiums, but to get to go to a new venue, which is part of the allure of Texas and Oklahoma coming to this league, do you get excited about seeing a new stadium for the first time?
Yeah, I get very excited about playing in new stadiums because I've grown up a college football fanatic. Like, so the fan of me is going to be very excited to go play in that stadium, but the Alabama football player in me is going to be very excited to play in it as well.
I know we've asked you about kick.
Great weekend overall.
We've asked you about kick times before. Is it better though when you're on the road? I know you got to sit around the hotel, but is it better to play a night game just to get that full atmosphere effect?
Something that we say around here is anytime, any place, it doesn't matter. We could play in the Kroger parking lot out here. It doesn't matter to me at 2:00 in the morning. So we just love to play football, and when and where it doesn't matter. We're just excited about the opportunity to go play a great defense. Great team.
Yeah, we found out from Peyton Thorne, the Auburn quarterback, he actually is a possessor of a Kroger card. Do you have a Kroger card?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Well, you just mentioned Kroger parking lot. It was very specific, on brand. It was brand name. I just wondered if there was a reason you picked Kroger.
Do you ever do your own grocery shopping?
I do. I'm a Target pickup kind of guy.
Wait. That's not. Wait.
Type of what you want.
That's actually smart to put it in before, because if you go, especially if you go to the grocery store hungry, it's a disaster.
You're impulsive. Yeah.
But see, that's not you doing your grocery shopping though. That's you're putting in an order. They're shopping for you and bringing it out to your car. You're not walking down the aisles. You're not doing your own shopping.
Still got to go and pick it up. So technically, I'm still selecting it. So.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Technically, I'm approaching offensive lineman weight right now, but I'm not an offensive lineman, so apples and oranges, you know.
All right, he is Tyler Booker, the Alabama offensive lineman, and they are headed to Oklahoma this week to face the Sooners. Good luck against Oklahoma, Tyler. We'll see you and talk about that game next Monday.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good one. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Take care. Tyler with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Don't forget, CoverCrimson.com. CoverCrimson.com for all your Alabama coverage. The Cover Crimson YouTube channel has great original programming there. And then you can also get on that website at CoverCrimson.com, the message board. Start for $1. See what you like. There for $1 at CoverCrimson.com. We've avoided most of the year, but we get the Alabama and Auburn game at the same time, Saturday night, 6:30. Alabama, Oklahoma, Auburn, Texas A&M. We've avoided that for the most part.
Yeah, let's talk some kick times here in a second after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of those, our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa.
Yeah, great place to not only just stop by and pick up great gifts for the holiday season, located conveniently at the Summit Shopping Centers, but you can also order that special person gift online 24/7 from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. You can let the wife or girlfriend choose what option she wants on that gift card. 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or stop in, see Stewart and the great staff, and tell them the next round sent you.
And our friends at the Pants Store, locations in the original one in Leeds, but also multiple locations in Birmingham, also in Huntsville, down just off campus in Tuscaloosa, and in Auburn as well. Your game day headquarters. Bama and Auburn polos, hats, quarter zips, sweatshirts, everything is perfect this holiday season to go under your Christmas tree right there. From Gentile, Antigua, Cutter and Buckhorn, Legend, and a lot more right there with our friends at the Pants Store. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. They got the ladies' wear as well. Free alterations, free gift wrapping, footwear from New Balance and Hoka. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store, especially this holiday season. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. You're mentioning about Alabama and Auburn having the same time. A lot of fans, Brownie, are starting to ask the question, and we should find out today, right, when the actual Iron Bowl itself will be. Texas A&M's a Saturday game.
That is correct. Yeah. So here's your schedule for that weekend, because Jim, have been asked this question numerous times.
I would imagine. I got it at yesterday as well, moving around. Texas A&M's got to be your prime time game, right?
Yeah. A lot of people are trying to make their plans with family. I mean, you got Thanksgiving that weekend, so family coming in to go to games and things like that. I get it. We have had a much better year, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys have felt about it. Y'all, you go to more games. Lance and I stay home, so it's just what screen it's on for me. But the kick times in advance, to me, has been fantastic this year. You're able to look down the road and at least know what window games are in, right?
Yeah.
We don't have that. So here's what you've got in the SEC. On Saturday, you've got Texas A&M, and it's held for the same time window that Alabama and Auburn are held for, from 2:30 to prime time, right? So it's in that same time window.
So there's no way Alabama-Auburn can be straight out of game day at 11 o'clock.
No, the only SEC game that is in that window right now that I see is Tennessee-Vanderbilt.
Okay.
They're either 11 o'clock or the 11:45 SEC network.
Okay.
Your 2:30 and late games right now, according to ESPN, this is from their website, so I'm assuming they would know, right? If anybody knows, they would. Iron Bowl, Texas A&M, and Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, so that's easy.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Oklahoma, LSU, too. Oklahoma, LSU.
Okay. It's still easy to me. It's Alabama, Auburn, because both LSU and Oklahoma are out of the playoff race. Alabama and Auburn, if Alabama's able to beat Oklahoma, is 2:30, and then Texas A&M is 6:30.
That feels like your ABC lineup right there, right? Yeah. Probably go ahead and throw Tennessee-Vanderbilt on at 11.
Yep. Out of game day, Tennessee. Well, not out of game day, but 11 o'clock on ABC, Tennessee, Vandy. Yeah. Alabama, Auburn at 2:30, and we'll know today at around noon, right?
They should announce just after our show, so pay attention to social media, and we'll get that out to you. But I've been asked a lot, and I've told most people I think it's going to be a 2:30 kick. I think that's where you're going to fire in the Iron Bowl is 2:30 ABC. I don't know why they would put it head-to-head with Texas A&M.
No, I don't think they would.
That would not make a lot of sense.
Which they could on ESPN,
Correct,
right?
but why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's far more likely you get something like a Louisville, Kentucky head-to-head.
Yeah. I just thought if it was still open for it to be an 11 a.m. game, that would be an attractive game to put up against Ohio State and Michigan. That could draw some numbers away from Fox, but they're not in that business. 2:30, and they'll just take the numbers they get there with the Iron Bowl. We'll see if that becomes official a little bit later on today. All right. A lot of things still to get to on the show, including Joel Klatt, who will join us in about 45 minutes. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. They bring you the lock, Lance's lock. You'll probably have a big play on Texans and Cowboys tonight. Texans have lost 3 of 4.
Yeah, nice 3-0 day yesterday. Another winning weekend at lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. Tell them the guys from the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
A little on the NFL before we get back to college football at the top of the hour, but just as you would expected, a very well-played Buffalo-Kansas City game yesterday in which the Bills win 30-21. Josh Allen looked fantastic, but you cannot underplay the addition of Amari Cooper to his arsenal. Having Amari Cooper helps out Josh Allen tremendously.
Well, yeah, and especially with no Dalton Kincaid, no Keon Coleman, so you were down weapons and needed somebody to step up. And, the 4th and 2, you knew Josh Allen was running the football.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Romo even said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I don't blame him. I mean, he's such a difficult dude to stop, but Kansas City's defense had been lights out. That's the most points they've given up since 2022.
I still thought they played really well.
Kansas City, yeah. I mean, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I don't come away panicked from that game by any stretch of the imagination. Now, all of a sudden, one seed in home field is back in play. If Kansas City wins that game, it's hard for anybody in the AFC to track them down to get home field away from them, even if they don't go undefeated. It's back in play now.
I don't know if it matters. Like, if Detroit plays their best football, the offense is unstoppable.
Yeah, but Detroit would a lot rather play in a dome. That's not what's really at play here, to your point, in the AFC.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, Detroit, I mean, if they get home field in the NFC, I don't think anybody in the NFC is going to beat them, and I don't see anybody in the AFC that can beat them right now.
Yeah, so you're calling Lions your pick for the Super Bowl
I would feel good about it if they had any history. I mean, the facts are the facts. I mean, the Lions have never been to a Super Bowl, much less won one, but they are far and away the best team in football. You just can't defend the offense.
Well, they're making history right now. A scoregami yesterday, 52-6. Detroit beat the Jaguars. Goff with 412. Jameer Gibbs looks good. Montgomery looks good. They got a thunder and lightning running
Sam
back
Laporta.
tandem.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best receivers out there. They have the best offensive line. And, Goff quietly, a 158.3 passer rating. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. A perfect passer rating. He did it with the Rams in 2018. Did it again yesterday. And 644 yards of offense. How is that even possible in the NFL?
Yeah.
Has Alabama gone 644 this year? I don't think they have.
Well, I wouldn't think so, right?
I wouldn't think so. No.
I mean, it's probably only a handful of teams that have done that in college football, but 644, Jacksonville is a complete embarrassment. They've lost 14 of 17. The Mac Jones, it's never going to turn around.
Michael, Andy, poor Mac, they're saying over there. I mean, he doesn't look great. He's with another sucky team, but it doesn't look great.
Watching the Rams yesterday battle to beat the Patriots, and Drake May, by the way, that kid has got a lot of upside. I don't know if you've seen him play this year.
Yeah, I watched him a good bit yesterday against your team.
Yeah, he was spinning it yesterday. But the one thing that jumped out of there, we talked about on the broadcast, that New England has not had a 300-yard passer since Mac Jones to start the season last year against Philadelphia. But Mac's confidence is just gone.
It's shot. Yeah. He's been in tough situations. I mean, he's not necessarily been handed a great situation in either spot, but a lot of quarterbacks survive bad situations to get to a better one. I just don't think Mac Jones is going to be able to do it.
Pretty good situation for Bo Nix yesterday. 4 touchdowns, 307 yards. They demolish NFC South leading Atlanta. Big win there for the Broncos. And, this first year for Bo Nix, you got to put this down as a success, right?
Dude, he was throwing some dimes, too. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns his last 7 games, just 2 picks over his last 9 games, and they're 6-3 in those 9 games. They should be 7-2. I still don't know how Kansas City blocked that field goal last year, a 35-yarder, or last week. But I give them a lot of credit. Lots of teams come in flat off a loss like that, and they came in the complete opposite. Probably played their best football yesterday. This AFC West is really getting interesting because obviously Kansas City's Kansas City, but you look at what the Chargers are doing and you look at what the Broncos are doing right now. Those are good teams.
And the Broncos, to your point, just showed you they can play with Kansas City. Can they do it in playoff pressure? I don't know. Kansas City's a different team in the postseason. And the Broncos, to your point with the Lions, have never really faced anything like that. Or this Broncos
but don't be
team
surprised. We've got, a month and a half, almost 2 months of a regular season left. If Bo Nix continues to play like this, everybody was talking about Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix could be your rookie of the year.
Over Jaden Daniels.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now Jaden Daniels is the guy, but the Commanders, after watching kind of a flat performance Thursday night, Bo Nix, watching him right now on one of our screens here, just throwing great balls. 2
more NFL notes after LT tells you about our friends at Hydra Live. One of them, what Jace is talking about in the chat room over here, mybookie.ag chat room.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, and now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, the original, Highway 119 in Greystone, also a Tuscaloosa location. Very important. Mention the next round. When you're in any of these locations, they're going to give you 20% off all the great services from our friends at Hydra Life Therapy. Also ask about memberships. You basically recoup your membership in just one visit with a free IV bag each and every month. HydraLifeTherapy.com. You can book your appointment right there. Walk-ins welcome. Very important. Mention the next round.
Okay, so Daniel is right. Jaden's last 3 weeks haven't been as good as it has been, so that's a great point for you. I wanted to bring up Pittsburgh and Baltimore because Pittsburgh's now beaten Baltimore 8 of their last 9 games. 6 field goals yesterday from Chris Boswell for Pittsburgh. Ugly. But Baltimore's Justin Tucker missed a couple of field goals, and as Jace points out, he's a Ravens fan. He's a Hall of Fame kicker, but he's not kicking like one lately.
Well, it's been all year with Justin Tucker. It's just – the ball used to just explode off his foot, and, you don't get that anymore. Obviously, he's getting a little long in the tooth. You can make an argument Justin Tucker is the best kicker we've ever seen in the history of the NFL. He's got a 66-yarder to back that up against when Detroit was a jinxed organization. You guys remember he did the crow hop to kick it, and it hit off. It literally hit off the crossbar and went over. But, yeah, he's been off. It's amazing Pittsburgh won that game yesterday, and they pretty much controlled it. They are now 2-0 without scoring a touchdown this year. All other teams in the NFL 2-16 without scoring a touchdown. But They only had 52 passing yards at halftime against the worst or one of the worst passing defenses in all of football.
It defies explanation how they continue to win this way. One of my neighbors is a Steelers fan. He's from Pennsylvania and is a Steelers fan. And I texted him after the game. I was like, your team is the best I've ever seen at winning ugly games. Like, y'all make it as ugly as possible, and then you win 18-16 or something like that. I mean, that's just who the Steelers are.
And it's like Mike Tomlin almost mesmerizes the other coach, because Pritch Law is asking a great question. How do you run a 2-point conversion play if you're Baltimore and you don't have Derrick Henry on the field?
That's
well, hey, how about this? Todd Monken did not call Derrick Henry's number in the entire fourth quarter. So you've got a one-possession game. The reason you went out and got Derrick Henry was to close games out, and he doesn't even get a touch in the fourth quarter. I mean, Ravens fans have to be sick to their stomach because they had every opportunity. They got outplayed, but every opportunity to win that game late, but you didn't have Henry in the game, which makes no sense.
Not just no Henry. It looked like they didn't even know what the play was.
Yeah.
Which is weird on a 2-point conversion because
discombobulated is what I saw it described.
Well,
well, Lamar rolls left, and it looks like he's looking to throw, and there's no receiver.
Yeah, who
over
was
there.
calling the game yesterday?
I can't remember, but the analyst
they were
was
like, "This is like designed to throw it, but there's not a receiver."
That's right. That's what the analyst was like. There's no receiver over here, so I don't even know what he's doing because.
Is there a chance Lamar ran the wrong way? Everyone
could
else?
have.
Yeah.
Could have. It didn't seem like everybody was on the right page for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of, if you think ugly, winning ugly is bad, losing ugly is worse. The Jets yesterday against the Colts, they lose, but with Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer quarterback, first 5 drives, not one, but 5 drives, 3 and out.
Yep.
No first downs. First 5 drives with Aaron Rodgers against the Colts.
Yeah, I think he's approaching close to 50 starts without a 300-yard game. And you were on your 4th kicker in 4 games yesterday. Anders Carlson was the guy. He made a career-long 57-yarder, but how do you have 4 kickers in 4 weeks?
Yeah, that's hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it shows you that you've got a shitty organization.
Yeah, it really does. And I did not watch a lot of this game, but a lot of the chatter I saw about it was the Jets were playing it at half speed, like acting like they didn't want to be out there. And Aaron Rodgers is the leader of that.
And Robert Saleh is probably looking at this. They're 1-5 now after firing him.
Yeah, that helped.
It wasn't a Saleh problem.
Nope.
Yep.
You can say what you want about him.
All right, that's the NFL tonight. Texans and Cowboys, 7:15 on ABC and ESPN. Show being brought to you by DanielMooreArt.com. We'll get back to college football when we come back. The Legend is a tribute to Coach Nick Saban that Daniel A. Moore has put together, sort of a thank you to his 6 national championships in Tuscaloosa. You can get that painting right now, ordering it at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Maybe you want to remember one of the great wins of the season for Alabama, especially if this turns into a championship year. Deuces Wild, Ryan Williams and Xavier Brown, the Deuces for the Tide offense and defense, beating Georgia earlier this year. This is a preliminary sketch you're about to see. You can pre-order those right now at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. And don't forget the 2025 calendar. It's available for the Tide fan in your life. Coupon code TNR for 20% off. TNR gets you 20% off right there at DanielMooreArt.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price.
Just because you quit going
Academy,
to the gym, it
have
doesn't
fun
mean
out
that
there.
you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour number 2, we're going to get to 4 downs in this segment here. Already Tyler Booker, Joel Klatt coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to him about the big weekend. He was there for Colorado's big win. They did not melt under the pressure. Tyler, if you'll give me cut 7, Deion Sanders afterwards. I mean, the betting odds in Vegas tell us go ahead and give Travis Hunter the Heisman.
Well, I mean, until that game was garbage time, he had played every single snap. Every single snap. And I do think part of that was that they're the national television game. Deion knew a lot of people were watching. I may as well showcase my guy, but crap, it doesn't affect him, and they're a better team with him out there.
Well, Dylan Gabriel is out of it now after Saturday night. I cannot believe dumbass Dan Lanning call there at the end. Got away with it.
Fake field goal?
Yeah.
It never bites him.
I don't get that at all, what you were doing there. You make it a 6-point game because Braden Locke can't move the football at all.
They're awful.
But Dylan Gabriel's out of it now. Going back to Miami's loss, Cam Ward probably out of it. Watching Ashton Genty. That was one of the worst backdoors ever. If you had San Jose State plus 14.5, and they were up 14 in that game.
I thought they were going to cruise to a win.
I did too. I thought Boise State was in trouble.
Yeah, I did too. And I was pulling for San Jose, not only because I had the Spartans plus 14.5, but I want John Summerall and Tulane to get into this tournament because they are dangerous right now. Like, they could beat legitimate teams, in my opinion, the way Darian Mintz is playing football. With all that said, it probably is Travis Hunter's because I don't believe Colorado is going to lose.
All right, here's Deion Sanders as we get ready to listen to him talk about what he was doing with the Heisman Trophy. Travis Hunter, a chance for him to win it. For the undecided voters out there, here's prime time.
Travis had a tremendous day. He had an interception, a touchdown, and then one of the crazier catches you'll ever see. What would your message be to Heisman voters who are undecided in his case?
Sit up here and get no message, Heisman voters is undecided. If they can't see, they can't see. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Travis is who he is. He's supposed to go to the best college football player. I think that's been a wrap since, week 2? So we ain't petitioning for nobody. We ain't doing that. We got a wonderful display of cameras here, and I think we on national television every week. If they can't see it, there's a problem. Don't allow their hatred for me to interfere with our kids' success. They got to stop that. Y'all got to stop. Some of y'all like that. Y'all got to stop that, man. Give the kids what they deserve, man. I done had my turn. You had, I played 14 years. You had 14 years to hate me. Now let it go.
Yeah, well, that's an annoying narrative, is it not?
I agree. That does the victim. Yeah. The victim card gets
Prime.
old.
Well, that's to make Prime part of the story. Can you just punch his steel shot back up here? No sunglasses this week.
That's true. No sunglasses. Not bright in there.
He's got a. Do you guys get a lot of Tubi pop up?
I've had a few. He's got that show on there I learned this weekend.
Well, they paid for it
But it looks like it was 2 years ago is when they recorded it, because he looks completely different. I know with the gray beard and all, but
they paid for it. It was in something I was watching. It was a paid ad.
Oh, it was during the Big Noon Kick.
It was, okay.
Yeah, it aired during the game.
Was it in Tennessee, Georgia as well?
No, I saw it quite a few times this weekend.
Yeah, maybe,
because Tubi's also promoting. They've got another P. Diddy piece that's out, the Freak Offs behind the scenes.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
But I don't understand what the Dion show is. Is it
him and some chick? Yeah.
Is it a talk show? Is it a
seems to be.
show?
There wasn't a whole lot of detail with it other than that Dion is on it.
Yeah, from what I got, and again, I saw probably 15 promos for it this weekend. I think it is just him and this girl, and they're just talking about just current events and everything.
Oh, okay. It came across like maybe it was a scripted show. Like Dion walks in, puts down his bag. Tough day at the office, honey. What's for dinner? I'm cooking.
By the way, you would not have a talk show, and I know it's Tubi, where I saw the worst film I've ever seen in Trap House. I know it's Tubi, but you wouldn't have a talk show if people hated you, right?
Probably not. No, Travis Hunter is minus 649 to win the Heisman. That's a pretty hefty favorite.
Yeah.
They talked about in the broadcast, Brownie, how the odds had switched at the end of the game. Before they went to their next game, Fox did a live update on the betting, and everyone else was plus, and he was the only one minus, and I think it was minus 2 something at the time.
All these odds are at mybookie.ag that I'm reading to you, mybookie.ag. Travis Hunter minus 649. Ashton Genty plus 192. So that's a significant gap, right, to Genty?
Oh, yeah.
From minus to plus.
Yep.
Even a more significant gap, Cam Ward is plus 700.
Yeah.
Gabriel Dillon is plus, or Dylan Gabriel, I'm sorry. I had his last name first. Dylan Gabriel plus 1050. Curtis Rourke plus 1425 and Jalen Milroe plus 1475.
Now here's the thing. It's almost, if you believe Indiana could win this game, like if Indiana wins this game and Curtis Rourke has 4 touchdowns, then he's probably...
That's going to change. He's
probably
second.
right there with him. Yeah,
maybe so.
So maybe you take a flyer if you believe Indiana can win this game. I don't think a lot of people believe Indiana can win this game.
I would say Milroe's got a chance to make a nice charge. If he has a good game at Oklahoma, that's primetime Saturday. Good game, 2:30, Iron Bowl on Rivalry Saturday. And then in the SEC Championship game, leads Alabama to a win over Texas or A&M. I don't know that he can win it, but he could certainly get to New York.
He had 3 great, crazy games.
Yeah.
But how many of the voters, I wonder what the percentage is that will wait until all the championship games are over.
I don't know.
Or if they'll cast the ballot before.
And I'm not saying Milroe could win it. I don't know that anybody's going to track down Travis Hunter, but I do think if you're an Alabama fan that likes Milroe, he's got a chance to get to New York.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, 55 yards receiving, rushed a touchdown, had an interception. Did it all. The only last person to do that was Champ Bailey in an NFL game to have 55 receiving, a rushing touchdown, and an interception in the game. So it's been a while. He was pretty amazing.
And he did the pose.
He did do the pose.
He does that a lot now, but it was a good one.
He's earned it.
One. Milo's bringing you part of the show here. Tell you about a couple of great sponsors, and we'll get to 4 downs. Tell us about Milo's.
Yeah, Milo's wants to remind you what is better than a Milo's burger. How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away a catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family could be chowing down on Milo's favorites. And the best part, it's free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now. Maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling. That is who redid the master bath in the Brown house, the master bath in the Taylor house, the kitchen in the Taylor house, and so many of you that are members of our audience redoing rooms or entire homes for you. And we appreciate you supporting our sponsors. Hope you know that. Brad Bell has gotten to know many of you because he's done work for you. Here is his number, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758 for Brad Bell, A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling. The way we found him was when it came time to redo the master bath in our house, my wife scoured the internet looking for the best person for the job. Brad Bell is who she found after talking to certain contractors, listening to reading reviews, talking to people. I mean, just doing her homework. Brad Bell's who she picked. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom redesigns. That's important because you enjoy those rooms when you have your house, and you get your money back when you go to sell them. 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling.
Phil Longo fired at Wisconsin. Kirk Cignetti on the off week gets an 8-year, $64 million contract, $1 million a year extra as a retention bonus. Was he 63?
I think he is.
He's in his 60s.
Yeah, he's 63.
Man, he's got damn good agents.
He does.
Well, he does.
I love those guys.
And look, this is probably knee-jerk. You look at what he did at James Madison. This has been an incredible story. I think more when you start to really look at this, like Julian Lewis, who was, one of the big gets for Lincoln Riley in the 2025 class, decommitted over the weekend to USC, and his finalists now are Georgia, no surprise, Colorado, if Deion's around, no surprise, and Indiana.
Yeah.
So for Kirk Cignetti, and I guess he's selling it. Look, we'll pay you whatever you want. We've got big $10. And by the way, you can do something nobody's ever done at Indiana before. You're going to win our first national championship for us.
Unless we do it this year.
To your point, it was probably easier to get Kirk Cignetti those extra dollars than some of the negotiations they had to do for us.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Kirk Cignetti was an easier deal than we are.
Yeah.
So,
hey, do they represent Kirk?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, why have we not had Kirk on the show?
I don't know. Why don't you reach out
Probably
to him?
probably haven't asked.
Yeah.
Doing it right now.
Do you guys remember this storyline? Coach gets hot out of nowhere, going to Ohio State, and AD's like, hey, before the Ohio State game, let's go ahead and give you a contract extension. Gets a big contract extension. Do you remember that story, Jim? You remember it? Close your eyes.
Was it Tom Allen at Indiana?
Nope.
Because they screwed up and did that one.
It was Mel Tucker.
At
Michigan State. Do you remember the outcome of that game? I think it was 49-0. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah.
I think it was 49-0.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I am saying there was a reason that Florida got out ahead of the Billy Napier story before they went to Texas, right?
Hunter with the Mel Tugger meme over there.
Yeah.
If you know the story, you know the story.
There was a reason. I think you do this before you go to Ohio State.
Slice brings you our 4 downs today. Joel Klatt in the next segment. Tell us about Slice, man.
5 great locations for you. The original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location in Edgewood. And get into the Bajalia Brothers. Local pizza, local ingredients, from the delicious soul pie to the hot mama to the Bajalia special. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Oh, Megan Kelly, 54 years old today. Ultimately better career, Megan Kelly or Megan Fox?
So since Megan Kelly, ironically, was on Fox, she now, I think, just does her own YouTube channel, Tyler, podcast?
She's got her own channel on either X or YouTube.
Yeah,
she does pretty well.
I am for those people. I like those people to be successful when they do it that way. That said, Megan Fox is going to have the better of the 2 careers, I think.
Megan Fox for me because her words are usually scripted and I enjoy them a lot more. Yeah. She talks less.
Yeah. I mean, just the totality of the career, you got to go Megan Kelly, right? Megan Fox just looks good.
Yeah. But I think Brown's onto something. Megan Kelly on Fox. Now that's
now
that was an image for a second until you told me it was about broadcasting.
I should have clarified that.
Second down.
Owen Wilson, 56 years old. If I asked you favorite Owen Wilson role, don't say everybody. Don't go Anaconda at one time.
No, I'm not going to go Anaconda. I am going to go Wedding Crashers.
I think I would too, Brownie. He was he
was a little too sappy in it, though.
Well, he's pretty good.
I know you like that.
You know, I'm going to bring it back from Wedding. I think I'm going to go Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents is great.
I think I'm going to go Meet the Parents, actually. Wedding Crashers I enjoyed, but I think he was better in Meet the Parents.
He was in Meet the Parents?
Oh. Was he in Meet the Parents?
He was the impressive guy, like the ex-boyfriend.
They go to the house, remember,
he's
for
the one
the party?
that whittled the thing that burned down.
He would.
JC was a carpenter.
That's right. You don't remember him? Oh, he played a great role.
The grill's hot, the pool's Luke.
But wasn't he also the guy who slept on the couch in it was a sitcom, the rom-com. Had Kate Hudson in it. Kate Hudson and she was married to a guy. They slept upstairs, and he was the friend who had to sleep on the couch downstairs.
Yeah. I've never seen Zoolander. I know some people swear by Zoolander.
Yeah. I think
people are saying Marley and Me.
Yeah.
That's where the dog dies.
It is, in fact.
Yeah,
spoiler alert, where the dog dies. Yeah.
Don't watch it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Wedding Crashers. Or I'm gonna go Meet the Parents. Second is Wedding Crashers.
Yeah. You, me, and Dupree. Thank you, everyone else there. You, me, and Dupree.
Third down.
Caleb Williams, 23 today. Head coach did him no favors yesterday.
Nope, that's becoming a trend.
Yeah, we'll have a new coach next year. David Ortiz, 49. Now, David Ortiz has won a World Series. He's a Hall of Famer. But if I asked you, ultimately better career when they're both done, Ortiz or Caleb Williams?
I mean, I've seen the career of Big Papi. That's a heck of a career, so I'm going to go with him.
He's still making money on Fox,
That's
too.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to go Big Papi.
Yeah, I'll go Big Papi as well. Obviously, Caleb's got a lot left in Chicago or not, but I'll go Big Papi.
Yeah, and I think Caleb's going to be really good. But, man, it's hard not to go with a championship and a Hall of Fame in hand. So I think I'll go Big Papi as well.
Fourth down.
Was he on that Red Sox team that came back from?
Yeah.
Yep.
3-0?
Yep.
Okay.
Kirk Hammett, 62 years old. Just to refresh somebody that might not know who Kirk Hammett is, lead guitarist for Metallica. If I asked you better career, ultimately Kirk Hammett, Kirk Herbstreit.
Well, I'm going to say the one that will get criticized, but I'm going to go Kirk Herbstreit because I think he's been an iconic broadcaster for college football fans. He's been the face of college football for a
very long time.
Over a decade.
Great career, but Kirk Hammett to do it for decades and decades at the level and the energy they've still got. And to be viewed as, probably a top 25 to top 50 guitarist of all time. And they absolutely, I know Herbstreit's done well, but they print money.
Worldwide, Kirk Hammett is more recognizable. In the United States, though, U.S. airports, Kirk Herbstreit get recognized more, you think? I think he would.
I think so.
He's so visible.
The thing is, we're weird about our college football, and I know college football is building and building and building, but, out on the West Coast, there's just not a ton of college football fans. On the East Coast,
there's not, but now he's been introduced to NFL fans on the Thursday night
that's
game,
true.
so, he's got crossover.
Yeah, probably, and Kirk Hammett looks a little different than he used to if he still had the fingernails painted and had the long hair, and maybe, but...
Yeah.
That's our 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice Pizza.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Get in, slice and a salad for lunch. Pick up a couple of pizzas on your way home. Be the hero. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at Academy Sports, man, we'll be out there. I saw a banner. I hadn't seen a banner behind an airplane in a long, long time.
Did you see that Sunday?
Yeah, the Academy Sports banner.
I've seen it the last 2 weeks. Yeah, you really, outside of the beach, and you really don't see them depending on what part of the beach you go to anymore.
I saw it from the golf course over at Bent Brook, one of our sponsors, the other day, flying down 280.
It clearly worked because we're talking about it. My wife saw it, and she was in Academy Sports and Outdoors over the weekend. We got a lot of fun things coming up with Academy. We love that they're part of our family now. The first thing that I want to tell you about, they want to send you to the big game in Tuscaloosa November 30th, right?
Oh, wow.
We just talked about, you might know the kick time for that game today. They want to send you there.
Big game.
Regardless,
Could be 2:30,
regardless of the kick time. 2 ways to register. You can either go to our website, nextroundlive.com. It's right there on the front page, nextroundlive.com, or in person at the new Academy Sports and Outdoors, 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in the old Best Buy there at the intersection of 280 and Cahaba Park Circle next to Target. We'll be there 9 to noon the day before Thanksgiving. We'll do our show from there, 9 to noon. You can register on site for those tickets. We'll give them away. That's the last day to register. The winner of the tickets will be announced Friday morning, Black Friday, thanks to Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Love those folks at Academy. We look forward to working with them. All right, one incident before we get to Joel Klatt, and maybe we'll circle back to him, but in Florida's win over LSU, there was a moment in that game for Brian Kelly where he was talking with Chris Hilton Jr. People who can read lips were talking about him being uncoachable. And then another moment where Kyron Lacey comes off and is obviously screaming at Brian Kelly. They're now 6-4. I think they've had four of the last 5 years, 4 losses or more. Where are you on Brian Kelly right now, and is this a bad look for BK?
Oh, it's a bad look. I mean, 3 straight losses. You know, they were dominating that first half against A&M, and then it has completely come off the rails for LSU and Brian Kelly. And this will, 10-win season is a good, solid season. This is going to end his 10-win season streak at 7. So, look, I still think Brian Kelly's a hell of a coach. I don't know what's going on. I would be really concerned if I was an LSU fan in year 3 where they are right now.
His temperament and the way he coaches and shows his emotion on the sidelines at players, can that work with the type of players you're getting at LSU as opposed to the type of players he was getting at Notre Dame?
I've been saying it all season, him and Kirby Smart, and I will not be surprised. Like, if one of those guys shut it down at the end of the year, it would not surprise me.
Yeah, but I mean, so you're not saying Kirby Smart, and because I think what Jim is saying is his temperament is like he is wont to blow up at players.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
I don't see that as much from Kirby anymore.
Not as much, but he coaches tough.
He does coach tough.
Yeah, I mean, and I just don't know if any of that flies, and especially like verbally. I don't even want to call it abusing. Verbally assaulting a player just doesn't work in today's college football.
Yeah,
I just think, and I could be wrong here, Brian Kelly looks like one of those coaches sometimes that when something bad happens on the field, he knows if I stop and talk to Garrett Nussmeier and I look upset about it, that my fans are going to know that I'm upset too, that really I don't think it was my fault. It was Garrett Nussmeier's fault. It's not him throwing the player under the bus, but when he's sitting there chewing Garrett Nussmeier out after a bad something on the field, I think he knows the camera is going to be on him, and I think that's his way of almost through the use of the ESPN cameras throwing the player under the bus.
I don't think that's helping him, though. If he thinks that's helping him, I think that's frustrating LSU fans more about him. It's just...
Well, and in-game coaching's been bad. Like, you go back to, and Blake Baker, that defense for Missouri was lights out. It looked really improved for LSU this year, but go back to when they make the change from Wegman to Marcel Reed, and then you get the week off, and Brian Kelly addressed it himself. I know a lot of you guys are wondering what we did the last 2 weeks. Jalen Milroe just gashed us for 15.4 per. And then you go back this past weekend against Florida. LSU's one strength was that offensive line. They had given up 8 sacks in 9 games. They gave up 7 sacks on Saturday.
Yep.
It's like everything that is good about LSU is really it's regressing.
Yeah, God, Florida looked good in that game.
Well, they did. I mean, Florida is playing better football. We've been saying that. It's just hard to show up when you're playing the schedule that they're playing, but they're playing better football. I don't know that they'll beat Ole Miss. I don't think they'll beat Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to have to play bad for them to beat Ole Miss, but they're going to beat Florida State at the end of the year, and they're going to get bowl eligible.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Hats off to that Florida field, Spurrier Field, Florida Stadium, Swamp crowd. I mean, that place was juiced, and that was...
They've had every reason to pack it in, and they haven't.
That was 6-3 LSU against 4-5 Florida, and it looked like a championship was on the line. It was a wonderful atmosphere.
Yeah, I think they've kind of turned and gotten behind Billy Napier a little bit, and I think the other thing has happened. The opposite has happened for Brian Kelly. I think LSU fans are tired of the act, the red face, the screaming, the beating the table after the games, and you never get anything out of it. What have you gotten out of that?
Well, I think you guys did agree, and I probably hyped him up more than anybody on the panel.
I was right there with you, though.
But when you get coaches like Les Miles and Ed Orgeron that can win national championships there, and then you get a pedigree like Brian Kelly taking this program over, in the era of NIL, when that program will spend anything on anybody, and we'll see if they get the Underwood kid, if he actually signs there. I think that probably would, not that they're going to fire Brian Kelly, but that would take a lot of heat off of Brian Kelly.
And these are the things you don't necessarily see if you don't live down there. I flipped on T-Bob's show in Moscona after the loss Saturday, and it's a pretty colorful show, especially after a loss. And all they could start out talking about was, we just lost to Sunbelt Billy. Yep. How do we lose to Sunbelt Billy? Yep. I mean, you thought this season was bad enough, and now Sunbelt Billy, all they would call Napier is Sunbelt Billy.
Because he was in the state of Louisiana.
That's right, in the Sunbelt. Yeah, so Sunbelt Billy beat us.
Yeah, so...
And I don't know if Sunbelt Billy is the answer.
I love
Florida,
the name, by the way.
But I think we all agreed that Scott Strickland made the right decision a couple of weeks ago when he gave him the vote of confidence that he would be back in 2025, because with this schedule and with his injuries at the quarterback position, he's earned it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Fun game there, and Florida gets the win. They got a couple of, maybe they shocked the world and beat Ole Miss this weekend at home too before they travel and play Florida State. All right, when we come back, Joel Klatt will talk to us about college football. Our friends at CPAP Plus ready for you to get a nice night's sleep as you get ready for Week 13 of college football, LT.
I talked to our man Joe O'Neill last week, and they are really excited about things that are coming up at CPAP Plus. Remember, the O'Neill brothers are CPAP users themselves, so they know what it's like, and they can actually speak to what CPAPs are all about when you come into one of those great locations. You can or you can Google CPAP Plus or visit one of the 3 convenient locations, Pelham Highway 280, Trustful. They've got something special for the Next Round viewer and listener, $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mass system CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock, ready for you, with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Landmine Believer is making a great point there. Caleb Cunningham decommits from Alabama, where he was a 5-star receiver. A couple places I looked today, he's a 4-star receiver at Ole Miss.
Oh, he lost the Bama bump?
You lose the Bama bump when you decommit from Alabama.
Hey, that'll teach you right there. Let that be a warning to all those other kids.
You want that 5th star back, you better recommit to Alabama before December 4th.
Yeah, let that be a warning if you're on Bama's list. You lose that star if you go somewhere else. All right, Joel Klatt joins us now. College football on Fox. You saw him in the Colorado game. Impressive win over Utah this Saturday. Welcome in, Klatt. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. I mean, in conjunction with BYU getting beaten by Kansas. Now, Colorado's got a pesky Kansas team coming up. Colorado now has become the favorite to win that conference, which I don't know if it'll happen or not. I just hope we don't lose the amount of respect we should be giving Deion Sanders for the fact that in 2 years he took over what he took over and will probably play for a conference championship. That's an astounding. It's one of the greatest turnarounds we have ever seen in college football.
Yeah, I mean, if Cignetti wasn't doing what he's doing at Indiana in 1 year, then we would be falling all over ourselves for what Deion is doing. You know, I don't think people realize, and I think I've given this stat on your show. 2 years ago, they were 1-11. Everyone knows that, right? But I don't think they realized the level of bad that Colorado was. The average margin in that year was, for Colorado, minus 29, which is staggering, guys. And the 11 losses were by an average of 32. So if you take the one win, that gets it to minus 29. If you're looking for some sort of context, the next worst team in all of college football was Northwestern that year at a minus 13 average margin. So they were double as bad as the next worst team. It's pretty staggering. Obviously, he's transformed that through the transfer portal. They're pretty good, guys. This is not even the same team that we saw earlier this season. The defense is much better, in particular on the front. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're an elite college football team because they're not. But at their top end, they're certainly the best team in the Big 12, which, you know, if they continue to play well, they're going to find themselves in the playoff, which is, every time I say that, I almost chuckle. I'm like, that is wild.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and we just played a Deion clip. He was asked about Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy, and my question to you, look, I know I doubted what they would do this year. I thought that they would be bad. I know that you thought that they were going to be maybe not this good, but as good, close to it. But Deion is just, he continues to beat the horse, that the narrative that everybody hates him. And I think people maybe doubted his coaching ability. I think people have come around, but I think people, you know, I think he was a polarizing guy, but I think there's a lot of people that like Deion. I mean, he's got we talked about his talk show on Tubi. You got to be liked somewhat to have a talk show. Why do you think he continues with that narrative, everybody hates me?
I don't know. Ask Kirby Smart. You know, I mean, like, that's what
I
Kirby
think people
is.
might hate Kirby.
That's such a good point.
I do
Let
think
me steer away from that. There's a lot of landmines in there. I'm going to take a.
I think it's flipped to people have started pulling for Colorado. People that weren't before.
I
think
people want to see them in the playoff now, especially.
So here's what I think that is, though. To your point, Lance, I think that everything with Dion is just ratcheted up 5 degrees, 10 degrees. So the haters are really loud, but people that love him are also really loud. It's the Dion effect. So he's a polarizing figure. So that means that everyone's going to run. It's almost like politics. They're just going to run in their directions and take hardline stances. And there's very little nuance when giving an opinion about Colorado. They're either the worst, it's the worst run program, this is that, or it's the best thing that we've ever seen, and it's going to revolutionize the sport. And for a long time, there was not the nuance of the middle ground of let's see what he does. Let's see how this comes together. Let's see how this approach actually can work or doesn't work. Can you get 95 players from the transfer portal in 2 years and actually build a team that has some chemistry and culture? And he's done that. So I think that there was polarizing opinions. And let's face it, even from the time he was a player with Tim McCarver, he listened to the ones on the far side that were negative towards him, and even when we talked with him on Friday before the game, he said to us, everybody's been telling me what I can't do my whole life. And I'm like, that's interesting. I was like, because a lot of people give him his flowers for what he can do and allowed him to do that. But I'm not going to tell him that's the wrong mindset because it's working. It's working for him and it's working for his team. And they play like that. When you're at practice, you can feel it. There is a sense of us against the world. And I know that gets to be a tiresome talking point. And certainly when I hear it from a team like Georgia, which has been so good, I get annoyed, which is why I threw Kirby out there, because he uses this same type of rhetoric. But what Dion is trying to say is that don't let the hatred of the way Dion coaches get in the way of what you think about Travis as a player. I think that that's probably correct, because there are a lot of voters out there that are going to look at this and just not like what's going on at Colorado. But let's face it, like what Travis is doing is, well, it's unprecedented in a lot of ways. And I don't think that there's really any argument. Maybe there's some steadfast people out there that just are going to argue for Ashton Genty or something. But Travis is the best college football player in the country. I think that that's a pretty fair and easy statement to make.
Is he the best cornerback you've seen in the last, like if he just was playing one side of the football, and I know this makes him special, like over the last decade?
No, not quite. If he was just playing on one side, one or the other, he would be a finalist for each award. Like if he was just a corner, he'd be a finalist for the Thorpe Award. If he was just a receiver, he'd be a finalist for the Blitnikoff Award. That in and of itself, being the same player, that's staggering. That's staggering. So is he the most dominant corner that I've seen in the last 10 years? No. Is he easily Thorpe Award, level? Yes. There's no question. So like that's pretty great. I do think that he's going to play both ways in the NFL. That's my favorite thing now on game day before the game, is to walk around the fields, whether I'm at a Colorado game or not, and I ask every scout their opinion about Travis Hunter. Not about his level of play, but about his future. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And I can tell you, like, most of the guys will say he's going to play both ways. Get ready, because when he goes to the NFL, this is a story that's not going to stop. And I think that and I said this on the broadcast, I think where it's going to land is that he's going to be a corner in the NFL and kind of like the third wide receiver, which is only going to get 30 snaps anyways, right? In an NFL game, let's say there's 52 snaps, 55 snaps. Because of personnel groups and switching and situation, the third wide receiver only gets about 30 snaps anyways. Well, that's a way to limit Travis's exposure on offense, even though he's a full-time offensive player, as well as play him full-time on the defensive side. I genuinely believe that that's going to be the role that he plays in the National Football League.
Hey, and I'm telling you, if Shedeur had run a better route, he may have been a finalist for the Davey O'Brien, too. He was ready to throw that pass.
Nice.
He was ready to throw that
done.
pass.
You were waiting that whole long answer.
I was.
I could see it on your eyes. You were like, oh, man, get me to the O'Brien.
Waiting for the pause. And I also, you're worried about Cignetti overshadowing Dion in the same conference just for Big 12 Coach of the Year. You got to throw some flowers to Kenny freaking Dillingham. They're 8-2, and I love Herm Edwards, but Herm had caved that program in a little bit down there, and Dillingham has brought it back.
Yeah, he had to do a pretty extensive cleanup before he started building, and they've been tremendous. I mean, think of the last 2 weeks. They beat Iowa State. They beat no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Kansas for a moment because I'm thinking of this meme where Kansas is the Grim Reaper knocking on doors. It's like Iowa State and then BYU, and then now it's like Colorado.
Right.
Arizona State has gotten better and better and better, and even as their running back, Bo Scadaboo, hasn't been healthy really in the last couple of weeks, even though he played against Kansas State. This is a team that has been very consistent during the course of the year, and they control their own destiny, Arizona State. What I find fascinating is that if you just play it out and you start to think of, like, let's just say, sake of argument, Army beats Notre Dame and they win the American, and ASU wins out and wins the Big 12, there's a chance that ASU is going to play the conference out of the college football playoff. Because Army, with a win over Notre Dame, would be the 5th conference champion included. Remember, it's not just the 4 Power Fours and a group of 5 in the language for the college football playoff. It just states the 5 best champions in college football, which means if Boise wins out and Army wins out, there's a good chance that those 2 teams would be ranked higher than Arizona State, who is trying to backload and catch up with those teams. It's just something to pay attention to as we kind of go down the stretch here of the season. It's a pretty wild deal.
Are you saying Klatt's wrong on this?
I'm just saying, watch where Arizona State is in the rankings tomorrow night. It'll be the biggest jump.
Sure.
It'll be the biggest jump in the college football rankings. Arizona State will go from nowhere.
I don't disagree, but
and they'll come in at 19.
If Army beats Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. Oh, I understand what you're saying. I just feel like the committee, who, let's be honest, run by the Power Four, but really the Big Ten, the SEC, I think you'll get a very safety net bump from Arizona State tomorrow night.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, 19, 18, from nowhere to 19.
Yeah.
And I think Colorado will be higher than what the AP put them.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Until they lose this week.
Oh, you got Kansas?
They travel to Kansas.
Yeah.
This is the one, so they go to Kansas. They're going to play that game.
I think they probably do. I mean,
it's a tough game.
Klatt's got a cartoonist knocking on the door with a Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
But even if they lose, they're still, I guess that would put Arizona State there.
No. You got a mess now.
Then you get into a big tie of like Iowa State, potentially BYU, Arizona State. Like it gets a little bit messy.
Yeah.
I know that Arizona State controls their own destiny. I know Colorado controls their own destiny. So if those 2 went out, then they would play in Dallas in the Big 12 championship game.
Damn, who had that?
What really is crazy, if it gets really confusing in the Big 12, I think Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz can play in the Big 12 championship.
They're not dead yet.
That's right. And then he's right that he is playing playoff games, meaningful playoff games, which clearly they can just kind of like backtrack. They're going to have like some sort of Thanos glove and snap their fingers, and they go back in time, and they're back in the Big 12. And Eli's like, "What do you want from me? We're playing playoff games."
All right, when they came back and took the lead against South Carolina,
I thought of Klatt.
I did too, and I was like, Drinkwitz will be insufferable after this game.
Oh, insufferable.
Yes.
By the way, and this is not a knock against the SEC, but like the constant politicking by the coaches after the games. You don't have to tell us how hard your conference is. We've been talking about it incessantly for years. Like this whole thing, Kirby's sitting there is like, I want the committee to come down and play at Ole Miss. It's like, shut up, dude. Like, we get it. We're going to give you your flowers. You won 2 straight national championships. No one doubts you. The only reason that we might have a shred of doubt is because you played like crap against Kentucky. I just don't get it. Why is it a thing down there?
I don't know, but I think he's right. Ole Miss would beat the committee by several touchdowns.
Clearly, because that committee, I don't know what they're looking at, but it ain't football.
Yeah. You really want to know what it's about? It's about years and years of mainstream media, Hollywood, and the economics post-Civil War. It's really what it's all about. You want to delve into it.
Joe
We're just getting deep into American history. This is deep-seated stuff from Kirby.
Joe Klatt with us. He's joining us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag, where Indiana is a 12-point underdog right now at Ohio State. That is the Fox Big Noon Kick on Saturday, and it's a fascinating game. We, in a lot of ways, do not know what Indiana is. They have whipped everybody they've played, but rightfully everybody's like, yeah, but who have they whipped yet? And you don't get the credit until you beat a team like Ohio State.
It's absolutely true. Indiana and Texas are the only two teams in the top 10 that do not have a ranked win. And there is there doesn't seem to be any question about Texas, and I think rightfully so, based on the way that they played last year and what we think of their roster. And there are massive amounts of questions in regards to Indiana. I think Indiana is better than people want to give them credit for. I don't think it's just a schedule, although they would probably have a loss if they were to have played, like, let's say, Ohio State's schedule, or Oregon's schedule, or certainly Michigan's schedule. The same can be said about the SEC, though. We see the imbalance in some of these conference schedules. I think that if you swapped Texas and Georgia, just schedule for schedule, Texas would be the 8-2 team and Georgia would be the 1-loss team, right? So in a lot of ways, Indiana is getting the benefit, like Missouri got the benefit in terms of a favorable schedule. I do think, though, that this team, that there are enough really experienced quality players that this experiment is going to catch on. I'm already hearing, guys, and this is what the experiment is if we were to take essentially a first-team MAC conference roster, right, or American roster, like a group of 5, if you just took the first-team all-conference team and said, what would that group do against, a Big Ten schedule? And you're seeing that they play just fine. Now, do they have the 5 stars? Do they have the elite, like maybe national championship level players? Maybe not. But they have this roster of group of 5 players that are highly experienced, and they've all played all conference caliber football, and they come up there and they can play just fine in that conference. I'm hearing so many coaches start to say to themselves, like, we have designated staff members now scouring the group of 5 for the next Indiana roster. Who's the next Curtis Rourke? Who are the next guys that have played 30, 35, 40 games at that level, have produced at a high level, and now we can bring them up here and they've got a chip on their shoulder. They know how to work. They're veterans, and we can get them for a year or maybe 2. So I think that's what's so fascinating about this. And if they were to beat Ohio State, like, everyone would lose their mind. And I think it would turn college football and the transfer portal on its head. We would no longer look at the transfer portal and say, hey, I want Alabama's backup or Georgia's backup or Ohio State's backup that was a 5-star that didn't get on the field. I want to go to, whatever, Buffalo and get their all-conference defensive tackle that's played 35 games. And so the value of the transfer portal in a lot of ways is going to be under scrutiny when we get to this game on Saturday in Columbus.
I lean that Ohio State's going to win this game 17-21. They're a 12-point favorite. You've got a feel for these atmospheres, the Big Noon kickoff. I think Indiana is really good. I just think this spot is probably a little too much. How do you think it plays out? And if they were to lose by 21 and still go 11-1, they should be in, right?
I would think so. I mean, who knows the politics, that are going to happen, certainly from guys like Eli. Eli will be down there just pounding the table.
We're better than Indiana.
What's Indiana done? I think it'll be a fascinating experiment because let's just say, sake of argument, Texas beats Texas A&M, and then you've got these 4 2-loss teams in the SEC. You're going to have a big old argument between Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Indiana because Alabama controls their own destiny. So Alabama likely gets to the SEC championship game. I believe if you get to the SEC championship game, even if you lose and that's your 3rd loss, that you should go and not get penalized for that game. I'm in total agreement with Greg Sankey on that. So then those 2 teams would go, and then you would have these 3 2-loss SEC teams against a 1-loss Big Ten team, and that's going to be a significant argument. With no ranked wins, Indiana is going to be in a perilous position. In particular, without a strong brand on the side of their helmet, which I think actually matters a great deal.
It does, but I'm almost okay with Indiana being in, man. I'm okay with the Big Ten and the SEC having a certain number of spots, because I believe if in 10 years it'll work itself out, that if the 4 best SEC and Big Ten teams are in, I think over a 10-year slice, that 4th Big Ten team will deserve to be in there more years than not.
Yeah.
So I'm okay giving Indiana the benefit of the doubt.
I totally agree with that. I think that the SEC is going to get 5 this year. I think the Big Ten is going to get 4. And what I think is going to happen is that you're in a position where I don't think that there's any way the ACC and the Big 12 get 2. So you're just going to take their champ and leave the loser of that game out, and then probably Notre Dame, and there you go. And that's probably going to be your playoff at that point. I do think that when we get down to it, the argument will be between probably like the loser of the ACC, Tennessee, and Indiana. 2 spots, 3 teams. I think that's the argument at the end of the year.
Joel Klatt is with us, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on. That doubles your initial deposit. You make your deposit, you use code NEXTROUND. That doubles it. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Question from the audience. Milkman would like for you to explain your thinking. He says you have said in the past head-to-head has to matter, but you have Georgia, he says, ahead of both Ole Miss and Alabama. Can you explain that thinking?
Yeah, that's first of all, Milkman, like, you're exactly right. I've always argued that head-to-head has to matter, but when the way that I ranked my top 10 is I kind of got to 5, then I put Notre Dame at 10, and then I looked at the 4 SEC teams that were all 2-loss teams. And the hard part about that is that if you just try to go by head-to-head, then it's a cycle, right? Because they've all kind of beaten each other. So there's no clean way to just play this out head-to-head. So I had to go to essentially like, well, what would be like a Klatt tiebreaker? What's my tiebreaker? I'm not going to go to winning percentages or anything like that. Guys, here's what I went to. And I talked about this actually on my show that released today. I went to what are these teams at their best? So scrub who they've beaten and who they haven't beaten. I just said, like, okay, when I've seen these teams play their best football, I'm going to rank them 1 to 4 based on their best football, their ceiling. I think the highest ceiling of the 4 is Georgia. I think we saw it last week. 4 quarters, well, really 3 quarters of like really dominant football over a good Tennessee team. They won on a 31-7 run in that game. So I went with them at the top. Then Ole Miss dominating that Georgia team. And I know that there was weather involved, but that was highly impressive. The problem with Ole Miss is that their floor was just so much lower than what Georgia's floor was. So I put them next. Bama's best performance was just a half over Georgia, at least in my estimation. I don't think that the LSU performance is carrying as much weight as we thought it would because of what LSU has done and what they actually are. And then Tennessee, their win over Alabama at home was solid, but it was just by 1 score. And so their top end, to me, didn't raise to the level of the other teams. And then A&M fell out of the top 10. I didn't even have them in that next group of 4 because their best win was a comeback win against LSU, which, let's be honest, doesn't look that great. They still have a loss against Notre Dame, and then they got drilled against South Carolina. So, Milkman, great question. I'm not telling you that that's a bulletproof system, but that's how I ranked those teams. I looked at their ceiling. When they're at their best, who do I think is the best? And so that's how I landed on those 4 in that order.
Fair enough.
Sticking in the SEC, this is a very random question, but I just wonder if you go my direction on this. If you could only draft 1 player from this conference for the years of 25 and 26, so the 2 following years after this season, 1 player from the SEC.
To play in college.
To play in college.
Okay. Yeah. In college. It would be, why am I blanking his name? It would be, there's 3 guys. There's 3 freshmen. Ryan at Bama.
Yep.
The Simmons rusher at Texas. And the edge right? Simmons, right? I believe I've got that right. And then there's a freshman edge rusher at South Carolina that I really love.
Well, that's the team I was going to go with. I would go Lenora Sellers. I think he is going to be
the quarterback at South Carolina.
I think he's going to be next level. They're on that 4-game winning streak, 10 touchdowns, only 1 pick, and the guy is just learning.
him.
He is so raw. Like Ryan Williams seems like, would be the answer. Before the season, you would have said like Nico or Jackson Arnold. But watching this Sellers kid, I don't know if they can keep him. I assume you pay whatever you got to pay to keep him.
I would hope so. But people are going to be. You talk about the Sharks. They are going to be. They are going to be down there. That's going to be difficult for South Carolina to keep him. I do like Lenore Self. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I didn't go with Nico only because I think there's a ceiling on that offensive system. If he stays at Tennessee, there is a ceiling on that system, and you saw it on Saturday night.
Wait, why though? Go back 2 years ago though. Go back to Hendon Hooker, and that offense was
there was
incredible.
a ceiling on that. Did they win the conference?
They did not.
Well, that was kind of Stallions, right?
And they had Hyatt, they had Hooker, they had elite play. So here's the issue with Tennessee. I'm not saying that they can't be good. I'm not saying that they can't be really good, but I don't think that they can win a championship with that system. I know that that's an extraordinarily bold take, but if you go back to even the Baylor days, this offensive system is predicated on space and athletes. And when the athletes are not significantly better than the competition and you're in a matchup game and you have like athletes on the other side, this offense isn't nearly as explosive as when they're clearly better than the opposition. You see that in the point totals throughout this SEC season this year. Now, a few years ago, they were elite on the outside, but still couldn't win it. And the reason is because they don't have a second pitch. There's not enough balance in the structure of offense that they play. Think about all the great teams that we've seen. They can do a lot of things. And I'm not just saying passing and running. I'm saying that you've got to be able to get big sometimes and throw 2 tight ends in there. You've got to be able to get under center. You've got to be able to roll the pocket. You've got to be able to take quick game. You've got to be able to throw the ball down the field, because at some point in a matchup game, they will take away your best stuff. Someone's going to take away your best stuff, which is exactly what happened on Saturday night to Tennessee, and they've got nowhere to go. They're continuing to stay out wide and spread out and play this whole matchup numbers game, and Georgia took it away because of their speed and physicality. And Tennessee can't adjust. That system can't adjust. It is not flexible enough as a structure of offense to win a championship. Certainly not an SEC championship, and I don't think certainly a national championship. So that's why I didn't say Nico right there.
Quick NFL point. You've watched a ton of Broncos football. Bo Nix. Should be 7-2 over his last 9 games if they didn't have the field goal block, but he's only thrown 2 picks. And he carved up that defense. And I know the Falcons' defense isn't very good, but, man, he's playing with a ton of confidence. What are you seeing right now with Bo Nix?
The most important part of a young quarterback's success in the National Football League is fit. That is it. And the schematic fit between Sean Payton and Bo Nix is remarkably good. That's why, I can remember, I don't know if I said it to you guys. I went on Denver radio last January, right after the college season, and they were like, all right, of these quarterbacks, who you taking for Denver? And I said, Bo Nix. And they were all like, Bo Nix? What are you talking about? That's going to be too high for Bo Nix. And I told them, it's not about which quarterback you think is better. It's which quarterback fits what you want to do. And Bo fits perfectly with Sean Payton. I was actually with Sean for a brief time when he was with the Saints in 2006, his first year there. In that offseason, I was down there in camp with the Saints. So I know the offense fairly well. I know what Oregon was doing very well because Will Stein played for and then coached under my old offensive coordinator. Okay, so there was all these tie-ins back to I know exactly how Bo Nix had success in college and what he was being taught and how, and I know how Sean Payton, what he wants to do to have success. So that's why he's succeeding, is because his style of play, the way that he succeeds as a point guard, a distributor with a little athleticism, fits perfectly with what Sean Payton wants to do. And they're finally finding that rhythm. That's a pretty darn good team, the Broncos, especially for a team that has a rookie quarterback.
All right, big noon kick, the big one. Indiana going to the Horseshoe. Curt Cignetti with a new contract, and Ohio State with the same old Buckeyes. We'll see what happens there. Tell Gus he can use that one. Joel Klatt will be on the call 11 o'clock on Fox Central Time, noon Eastern. Thank you very much, Klatt. Have a great week.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
All right, buddy. Klatt with us, courtesy of mybookie.ag, code next round. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag to double your initial deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, code next round.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, with 35 urologists in 16 locations treating all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and anything else. Guys, stay on top of your health. Call the number 205-930-0920. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule the appointment today. Also by our friends at Hemphill Services. LT, tell us about Hemphill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. The weather got a little cool. Weather in the area this past weekend. Actually did a couple of fires out back, but you need to make sure the heating is ready to keep up with this changing weather. Our friends at Hemphill Services, they earned the name Birmingham has trust since 1954 for plumbing, heating, and cooling. If you experience any of these issues in your home or business, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And all of our class guests like Klatt, Tyler Booker, everyone that comes on the show appears on the Johnston RV Center hotline, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. Right now you get great deals. Go see America in that cold fall weather at Johnston RV Center. JohnstonRVCenter.com. You can find travel trailers as low as $145 a month. You can find fifth wheels, $45,000 and more in savings, all right there at Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur, and every single thing I've talked about, including the warranties, at johnstonrvcenter.com.
And our friends at Ghost Energy, our segment every week on Who's Ghosting Who, brought to you by Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration. Authentic flavors, zero sugars, no BS. Lock in that Ghost Energy and find it wherever you buy your Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration. Energy and hydration drinks near you with authentic flavors, zero sugars, and no BS. It's Ghost Energy.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, another hour, final hour of the show coming up today. Don't forget at 1 o'clock, Unlocked. Schedule that, Unlocked, with Brock Heward and Lance Taylor coming up. You can go back and watch already this morning as well. The Middle Eight with Marcelo and Brown, and the Monday Morning Live with Lugan, Bill, and me. Little breakdown, small snippets of college football from Brownie and me. LT actually gets into a nice conversation about the NFL and college football with Brock Heward. You get all of that. We've talked Alabama's basketball loss at Purdue, Auburn #1 in KenPom. They're tonight, home game against North Alabama. Little T is going to be down at that game for us, down at Neville Arena tonight for that contest. Bama Wednesday night down at the Legacy Arena in Birmingham against Illinois, the next big game inside the state. Texans and Cowboys tonight on Monday Night Football. Lance'sLock.com. He's got a play for you there and plays all week on a lot of college basketball in the NBA, where, by the way, the Cavaliers are 15-0 in the NBA, second best start in NBA history, tying the 93-94 Rockets and the 1948 and 49 Washington Capitals.
Yeah, thought they would be improved. Did not realize they would be this good, but it's not a fluke. Their offense is absolutely legit. They've got 2 dynamic guards. They've got some athletic bigs, and yeah, they're playing really good basketball.
If you're wondering about the record, it's 24-0. I don't necessarily remember the 24-0 start by Golden State in 2015 and 2016, but they started 24-0 in an 82-game schedule.
The only thing I remember about that is people started saying the 72-win Bulls are in trouble.
That's
and
right.
How close to Golden State get? Did they get to 68 that year? I think
it was close.
Yeah, I mean, they challenged it, but you think when you start 24-0, 72 is definitely a possibility.
Back to college football after I remind you about a couple of great sponsors. One of them is our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They get you going for another work week. It's a Monday everywhere, right? But remember, everybody's going through a Monday. You know how you make a Monday better, Brownie?
How, Champies?
You go to see Sterling and the fine folks at Champies, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by there and say, man, it's been a long weekend. It's a Monday, Sterling. I need 2 big breasts and all the great sides that you get right there. Brined overnight, cooked to order, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It is champieschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Steve Sarkisian in Texas. Listen to Sark. Gets asked about what he says to his team about an SEC championship game and the playoffs. And then afterwards, after you hear Sark, I wanted you to tell me how comfortable you are with this team to stick the landing and actually be a college football playoff team. Here's Sark.
How much, I know every coach handles this differently, but you're in mid-November now. How much do you discuss winning an SEC championship and playoff stuff with your players?
I'm not one to shy away from that kind of stuff. I mean, I think we all know what our goals are for the season. We want to be in Atlanta in December, compete for an SEC championship, and we want to be playing January 20th. But I don't have to belabor the point. I don't have to talk to it all the time with our guys. They know, and then once they know, and then we get focused on the task at hand, and that's the next week's game, and we'll celebrate this one here, getting home, and then it's on to Kentucky.
Sticking the landing and making Atlanta is going to be all about the game against A&M. I mean, they got to beat A&M to get to Atlanta, unless Auburn pulls the upset Saturday, which is not outside the realm of possibility.
Oh, no. Auburn's only
2.5 right now.
Yeah, 2.5-point underdog.
What does that line tell you?
Well, I mean, yesterday at Circus Sports it opened at 1, which blew me away. A&M was a 1-point favorite.
I said 3.5 when I was asked last week.
Yeah, it's 2.5 now.
Yeah, I thought it would be just a tick over a field goal. But, a lot of this was before we saw Auburn play, and I know it was Louisiana Monroe, but Peyton Thorne had a game, and I think coming off of that, they kind of adjusted the number. That number is not going to be much different. Like Texas in College Station, I think is going to be a 3.5-point favorite, maybe a 4-point favorite. They haven't beaten anybody this year, and if they were to lose that game, not only is Atlanta maybe out of the question, at 10-2 does Texas get bounced?
And that's your problem. That's why when you ask confidence about the college football playoff, if they get to Atlanta, they're in. I maintain, and you heard Klatt say it, a team in Atlanta is not getting left out.
Who do they play this weekend, Brown?
Texas?
Kentucky.
Yeah, they're a 3-touchdown favorite.
Yeah,
is that in Lexington?
No, it's in
Austin.
Yeah, I don't even think it matters.
Yeah. I really don't know.
I mean, this past weekend against Arkansas, I don't know if you guys saw
I watched
a lot
the whole
of that.
game.
Yeah.
I watched the whole game.
They were -2. Arkansas was in turnovers. If you flip it around and they're able to hold on to the football and force just a turnover, I think they had an opportunity to win that game. It's Bobby Petrino's offense went in a shell, and you got to give Texas a lot of credit there, but just, I don't know. I thought Texas was good, did enough to win that game.
Well, that Barron kid, his hair was on fire on defense.
Game.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah. But, a 2-loss Texas team that's not in Atlanta has trouble, and that is why I don't have – you ask confidence in them making the playoffs.
I just don't know how good they are.
My eye test, for whatever that's worth, and I don't know why anybody would go for my eye test, but my eye test says Texas is pretty good. We talk about a lot of teams, like when you've seen them at their best, that is the best team in the country. So you tell me when you've seen Texas at their best.
Michigan.
First half against Michigan.
Yeah, but we kind of know what Michigan is. I think Florida last week, I said this about yours.
And that was the other one, Florida.
Yeah.
So now you're selling me on the best Texas I've seen is against Michigan and Florida. What do Michigan and Florida have in common?
They're both trying to get bowl eligible.
They're
neither
both
one have
good.
a quarterback. Neither one have a quarterback.
And they're not very good.
So neither one of those games are going to be competitive. Florida with Lagway is a competitive football team now. They didn't have Lagway.
They did
in that
not.
game.
Not
they had
in
a
Austin.
Third-string walk-on from the Ivy League. So that game was never going to be competitive. There was no sphincter factor for Texas in that game at all.
Like when I say Alabama, the best I've seen Alabama was against Georgia. That's a good team. Best I've seen best I've seen Ole Miss was against Georgia. That's a good team. Best I've seen Georgia was against Texas and Austin. So at least when I look at those teams, I'm like, well, the best I've seen them was against really good competition. I can't do the same thing with Texas.
I think this is the way this is going to play out. I think A&M is going to lose to Auburn this weekend, and then A&M is going to flip around and beat Texas. And tell me how messy is that?
Well, it is super messy. I mean, I don't
think it is. I think at that point it's Alabama, Georgia.
I think you're right. I can do
We've ever
this
seen that
scenario.
matchup before?
Yeah. Hello, old friend.
As much as this conference changes, The one thing you get at the end of the year, Alabama and Georgia, and I could see that because, I mean, can't you guys see how this season's playing out?
So I've got Auburn beating Texas A&M, and then Texas A&M beating Texas,
yes.
and then all the other favorites win.
Yep.
That gives you Bama, Georgia. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
It's the same two teams.
That's what I think's going to happen.
Hello, Dr. B, the guy that's made LT's hair very friendly.
My man, Dr. B, best in the business. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration right here in Alabama, remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. He takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce those quality results for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that great staff today. Schedule the consultation. Me and Brown have both been in. We're doing that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness over the last 2+ years. For more information, t3hair.net.
All right. Spotlight, we do them every day during football season. Upset alert on Tuesday. We'll get back to that tomorrow. We have our tradition on Thursday, but every Monday we do our stock report. It's brought to you by our friends at McCurry. Brand will tell us about McCurry after Tyler hits that massive button under his finger.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
McCurry Van Car Rental is who brings you the stock report. It is where you go to find those hard-to-find rental vehicles, the cars, the trucks, the SUVs, the passenger vans. They got plenty to choose from because they got plenty of locations throughout North Alabama. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Call and reserve your rental today. 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. McCurryRentals.com.
All right, LT, start us off, man. What do you got over
Boy,
there?
I wish I represented the player I mentioned to Joel Klatt and Lenora Sellers at South Carolina, because whoever loses out on the Underwood kid, whether it's Michigan or LSU, I could get Sellers $5 million for next season. I really could. At least $5 million. And I don't know.
Do you think he plays at South Carolina next year?
I don't know. I hope for South Carolina's sake. And I do think South Carolina, I mean, it's one of those, okay, LSU randomly, let's just throw it out there, they're offering $5 million. We got to find a way to match this. And I think the kid, you probably, I mean, I guess he's comfortable there, but his last 4 games, man, he's been
he's figured it out.
Lights out. Yeah, and he was go back to that Ole Miss game. He looked lost.
Yep.
And he's just finally getting the reps.
So calm after that touchdown the other day.
Drove them to take the lead, and then you see Missouri go right down the field. Heck of a play by Luther Burden to get in the end zone there. And then to Dunaway's point, he just comes right back out, no panic. Dude's just calm as he can be. Drives South Carolina.
Would you guys,
right down the
if
field.
you were drafting for the next 2 years, would you take a look at Sellers?
Yeah, I would. He does a lot of good stuff.
I think he is going to be great. So
I'd be a tampering mofo if I was in football.
I mean, seriously, if you're Michigan,
I'd watch football final every Saturday night when I got home from the stadium.
Smoke a cigar.
Hey,
honey.
Hey, give me another bourbon, sweetie.
No, but
what would it take to get that quarterback right there?
If you're Portnoy, though, and you're talking about paying a guy that we've never seen at the college level, you're talking about paying him $10 million or whatever that number is. Michigan
Sellers over that kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kid's going to be a stud. I'm just saying, if you can't get that kid, why would you not go after a South Carolina quarterback that's got experience now?
I would start in November, first weekend of November. I'd pick out my quarterback, and then I'd say, okay, you tell me by Wednesday what 3 wide receivers on other teams you want to play with, and I'll go get them. And then I'll be like, okay, you guys, 4 of you guys get together. Is there a running back you guys like? Let's go get him. And then there's an offensive line. Let's go get those guys.
You're spending a lot of money.
I like this kid a lot. So stock up definitely on Sellers. Stock down, another coach. Seems like a lot of my coaches are falling apart this year. But Chris Kleiman at Kansas State, you're coming off just an absolutely awful loss against Houston. And you had a situation where you controlled your own destiny to get to a college football playoff. You lose that game. You think you're going to regroup at home against Arizona State, and you get run off the field.
He's a bad hat guy too. He
doesn't care.
He has a floppy hat.
Yeah.
And then he's got it Jimbo'd on the side over here. And late in that game, he's trying to take the headset down. He's trying to talk to the official, and it's just. I mean, you gotta have a good hat.
The style points for the Kansas State coaches going back to Bill Snyder, who was wearing the windbreaker from the old Fiesta.
It was the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl.
Oh yeah,
they had to go to him and say, Coach, A, the bowl no longer exists, and B, if it did, we don't have a contract with it anymore. Can you quit wearing that pullover? Do you mind?
Yeah.
We literally give you new stuff all the time.
But, this is year 6, and, Kleiman wins a Big 12 championship 2 years ago, and they were kind of the odds-on favorite to do it this year, and now they're tailspin.
And you can't say they don't get any respect. Hell, they were still ranked
16th
in the college football playoffs.
They will be the biggest fallout. I
they're
think.
out.
And I think I do agree. I think Arizona State will be about not as high as they were, but probably close to top 20.
We're about to get some ass covering by this committee.
Yeah,
setting up the final 2 weeks. By the way, I did since I'm acting, did a reenactment for those guys in the middle of your show, the middle 8 in the back. My rosebud, my deathbed confession.
Deathbed confession.
I said, I swear my deathbed's going to be. What'd you say, honey? Maggie leans over and say
it one more time, Jim.
mybookie.ag, promo code next round. Promo code next round is going to be my rosebud. It's going to be mybookie.ag, promo code next round. I say it all the time. And
So strange.
That's gonna be
I thought it was going to be.
I thought there was a point.
I did too.
No, it's going to be my deathbed confessional.
Next round.
Yeah, promo code round. Double your bonus. Are you seeing the light, Jim?
Yes, I am.
Double your initial bonus.
My stock up is Cade Klubnik. One of the more entertaining games, if you guys watched it Saturday, was Clemson Pitt.
With his sideline theatrics, though, I was hoping Pitt went down.
He pulled them out of the fire. Pitt was not playing Eli Holstein. He was injured. They played a backup.
It was
actually a good story, and he played well.
He played well. He couldn't get protection on that final drive. I mean, they were in his face nonstop, and I still thought that they were going to win that game.
By the way, can I hit pause on this?
Yes.
We had it again in a game. Now, there were no bottles thrown on the field. I don't think we had that for the first week since Texas, Georgia. I think we avoided that this week. But in that game, there's a very obvious hand to the head on the quarterback. I mean, it's as blatant as it gets.
Yeah, the Clemson guy to the Pittsburgh quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback's head, I mean, it's as blatant as it gets.
If the neck had severed and it had rolled around, very much Gladiator 2, I'm sure, rolled around on the field there, I'd been less surprised than it being no flag.
No flag, and Narduzzi loses his you-know-what. There's a player injured on the play, so there's a stoppage in play, and then well after the stoppage in play, the officials come back and say, after consultation, we have a dead ball, personal foul. McDonough loses his mind on ESPN because it's abundantly clear that they just watch it on the screen and realize we screwed that one up. We got to make the call. And I know everybody's like, well, they got the call right. They did get the call right. But we can't normalize officiating off the scoreboard.
No.
We can't normalize that.
No.
If we're going to do that, let's just have a sky judge, which I've always liked that idea, a guy that's like, hey, y'all missed an obvious penalty. Stop the game. We're going to fix this.
Hold on, and I'll
that
cue it up.
That does make the most sense. I know we've talked about that before.
Hold on, I'll cue it up on the screen for you. Okay, now look, here we go.
Here's what
See
you
right
missed.
here?
That guy almost lost his head. But, I mean, Narduzzi lost his mind, rightfully so, because and then McDonough was even worse. And they have, I don't know if y'all had the volume up, but McDonough, they bring on Matt Austin, and he's like, every official sees it, he goes, Matt, with all due respect.
That's why I love Sean McDonough, because he calls a game like I watch it.
That's right. He will not put up with BS of official.
No, he's got a retirement fund.
He does, yeah. Cade Klubnik, though, bailed, all that to say, he bailed Kirby out. That run in overtime. They had only had like 50 rush yards the whole game. Dabo, excuse me. Yes, thank you. Sorry, Lance.
Luganville said 8 rushing yards.
Okay, maybe it was 8. Well, here, I can tell you what they ended up with. And what was that? That was a 50-yard run, Lance?
Flat 50,
Yeah, 58. So they had 8 rush yards the entire game against Pitt, the entire game. Yeah. He also threw for 288. He bailed them out. Yeah. And that was huge for them. Now, they got to have Miami lose to Syracuse, but they're still alive to go to Charlotte. If they lose that game, it's SMU and Miami and Charlotte. You know it.
Yeah. By the way, Paul Tyson, backup quarterback.
That's right. He got a shout-out in the postgame.
Yeah, in the postgame. He said, God's got this or something. Yeah. And I always wonder when I hear that, Brownie, because I'm a faithful religious man too, as LT, and we all are. I always wondered, though, does God hate Pittsburgh in that situation?
God needed a Clemson win?
I mean, did God have Clemson given the points? I always find that a weird comment to make.
I thought they scored too quick.
Well, I mean, Pitt had a chance. Yeah. Pitt had a chance.
I mean, look, there's nothing you can do. I mean, what were the chances? Well, Klubnik was going to take it 50 yards to the house.
8 rush yards, and your quarterback breaks off a 50-yard touchdown.
Can we get past, though, like last night? I know you're going to get to
Dobbins needed to get in there.
He did. But that's what I was going to say. Can we get past
You don't go down at every situation.
That's right. It's 19 seconds. Not everybody's going to do what Pat Mahomes did one time.
Yeah.
And it had to 18 things had to happen right.
And
for Pat
I'll tell you
Mahomes
this,
to do
I'm
that.
gun shy after watching the Chiefs block that kick. And then again, that wasn't a long field goal. And I know Eberflus has taken a lot of heat because they didn't run another play with a timeout. But I mean, the Rams blocked an extra point yesterday. Like, if you can score a touchdown and it's on your defense to hold them from scoring a touchdown with 18 seconds, so be it.
Yeah, that's me. Score the touchdown, and if I can't stop them for 19 seconds, I'm going to take that chance.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Mahomes on the road, all right, maybe, but pretty much everybody else, I'm okay. My start down is Luke Fickell. Guy's got to be on the hot seat now. He's fired Phil Longo. He's about a 500 coach. I think he's right at 500, 8-8 in the conference. I think he's right at 500 overall.
They played their butt off with less talent.
Their offense is
But their offense is awful. And the guy you brought in to change Wisconsin football, we're not going to be old school Wisconsin, line up and run it between the tackles and smash you right in the mouth. We're going to change that. Well, guess what? You've already fired the guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just embrace what Wisconsin has been, and that's line up, shorten the game, run it between the tackles.
1 of 12 on third downs, didn't score a point, outscored 10-0 in the fourth quarter. I don't know what you guys thought. I really thought Wisconsin was going to win that game.
I did too.
I think I read somewhere they didn't get a first down in the fourth quarter.
I don't think they got a first down in the second half.
Okay, second half. I read
That
somewhere
would
they didn't get a
include the
first
fourth
down in the second half.
Yeah.
58 pass yards, was that the total? Or 98 or something like that?
Yeah, it was right under 100.
Just an embarrassing offensive
And Dylan Gabriel didn't play well. You got to give Wisconsin's defense a lot of credit. The crowd was going nuts.
That one interception was a red zone interception,
It
right?
was.
That's what has plagued Dylan Gabriel, is throwing those red zone interceptions, costing his team points.
One of my least favorite, since I'm really off my rocker in this whole segment, the Diet Coke has kicked in.
I like that.
One of my least favorite songs of all time, I think it was from Footloose, Let's Hear It for the Boy, was that?
Yep.
I hated that song. But let's hear it for the hot seat coaches.
That's when they were dancing at the Sonic like drive-through.
Yeah.
And people are like, dancing's banned in this town, but everybody knows how to dance.
Hot seat coaches, man. Let's hear it for the coaches. Napier, Aranda got his team bowl eligible. Lee has had his team bowl eligible. I don't know who else has been on the hot seat.
By the way, Aranda, so Baylor was one of our plays this week, laying the point. They had never won in Morgantown. They were 0-6. But the Sawyer Robertson kid can play.
Yeah.
And how did he leave? How did State let him get out?
Mississippi State. Yeah, I don't know why or how.
I mean, Van Buren's probably going to be pretty good, but Sawyer Robinson kid can play.
But hats off. The hot seat coaches played themselves
They
off
did.
the hot seat. Now, there'll be coaches fired.
Yeah.
Maybe Sam Pittman. I don't know where we are on that.
I don't know.
Do you want to call a timeout real quick?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
back. If
You held yours up for a long time. Go
if
ahead.
you missed it, go back to the middle 8. Like, I don't know what everybody else's reaction to this was. I know Tyler had a bunch of balls in the air. Scott, I know, was watching. Maybe Scott can chime in on the middle 8. I asked him if he wins against La Tech, does that get Pittman off the hot seat?
Because they'll be bowl eligible.
And Brandon with a very long pregnant pause, like he was Netflix showing a boxing match.
Yeah, I thought we'd lost his connection.
And Scott, didn't you get the hint from Brandon that Pittman might be considering retirement?
Yes. I don't know about that, but Brandon was definitely not so fast on Pittman being
now,
back.
Brandon's tight with that. He lives up there, so he knows that program well. But I mean, he was like, just pay attention.
Yeah, well,
basically is what he said.
Dude could barely walk off the field at halftime.
Well, he's having a hip replacement. Is what Brandon pointed out.
And he's 62, and he seems like one of those guys, maybe not as over the top as a Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
But probably he's like, what in the hell am I doing coaching these 19-year-olds that shake me down week in, week out?
That's right.
By the way, Georgia's offensive line has not been as good since he was their coach. I believe he would step aside. They'd pay him a little money to step aside if they could get Arkansas native Rhett Lashley. So to me,
maybe that's the deal.
I'd keep an eye on Rhett Lashley and SMU coming to. I mean, if I'm SMU, I would do to Rhett Lashley
what Cignetti just
what
did?
Indiana did to Cignetti.
Yeah.
If I was SMU, I'd step up right now and pay him to commit and stay.
Here's the thing. You paid all this money to get in the ACC, right? I mean, for those that don't know the deal, SMU's bought their way into the ACC.
Yeah.
ACC didn't go get them.
Taking pennies on the dollar.
They went and said, what would it cost us to get in your conference?
I don't even think they're getting any money.
I don't think they are.
For a long time.
Yeah, I think for 10 years, I think it is.
Yeah.
So to your point, if you've paid all that money, what good does it do you if you suck?
Yeah.
So you may as well stay good at football.
Well, and if you're Rhett Lashley, I think I mean, look, there's only 16 SEC jobs. That is your home state,
and not all of them as good as SMU.
Yeah, I think I would stay put.
I think I would too. Yeah, but I'm with you. If I'm SMU, I find the money.
Yeah,
I go to those same boosters. Like, guys, I know I hit you up for money for us to join the ACC.
Yeah,
but what's it matter if we can't play football? Because they could be in the playoffs.
I'd hold up a map real quick. You see the state right next to Texas?
Yeah.
That's where Rhett Lashley's from. They're in the SEC, and they're going to come get our guy unless we want to pay for him.
But I do think if Pittman retires, more than likely Bobby Petrino will be given the job.
You think he'll be given another ride?
He will.
No pun intended.
I'd like to see Rhett Lashley get a big raise real quick before
I bet it's going to
Arkansas come open. SEC bubbles my stock down. Can you tell me why Mississippi is ahead of Tennessee?
And
on the bubble. I mean, when it comes out tomorrow night, Tennessee's going to be out of the playoffs. I think.
Because Ole Miss, I don't know why we're calling them Mississippi so formal. They beat Georgia. That's why they're in front of Tennessee.
Tennessee beat Alabama.
Well, I know that, but Ole Miss didn't play Alabama.
I know, but Tennessee did.
Well, one of them's got to be in the front. Would you put the one that beat Georgia by 18 or the one that lost to Georgia by, what did they lose by?
I mean,
15?
5-5 on the road is the worst loss for Tennessee to Arkansas.
That is correct.
4-6 Kentucky at home.
Yeah, I remember.
That's a bad loss for Mississippi. To me, Tennessee in, Mississippi out. If I was doing this.
Yeah, but maybe it's just because we've seen it more recently. Like if you're giving me your top 3 teams in the SEC, nobody's putting Tennessee in the top 3.
Yeah. So recency bias is what that is. Yeah.
I wouldn't put them in the top 4.
You'd have Alabama in front of them, though Alabama beat them.
Although they beat Alabama,
I should say.
I thought they were a better team.
Yeah.
And they did beat them, but.
Then there's Texas. Why you got a question mark next to the Hook'ems?
Because if they lose one,
they're out.
I mean, these two
unless the loss is in Atlanta.
Better than this team,
unless the loss is in Atlanta.
Yeah. Texas, man, it's going to get really tricky if they lose to A&M and don't get to Atlanta.
Neutral site right now. Let's say it's in Atlanta, and the crowd split 50. If it was Tennessee and Texas, who would you think wins that football game?
Oh, I lean Texas, just more balance.
Really? I think I'd take Tennessee. Mississippi and Texas. Or as Ole Miss, as some people would like to refer to it.
Yes, most people.
Oh, my God. Sark and Kiffin.
How funny would that be?
It'd be great.
I think I'd go Ole Miss.
Hide your daughters, hide your wives.
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
Scott points out.
I can make an argument for all these teams.
Forrester points out, don't forget Ole Miss did whip South Carolina on the road, and that is an excellent win.
Yep.
Oh, look at you discounting that.
No, it is.
No, that was a very tepid. That was a very tepid yep, and a nice little win.
Excellent win. Tennessee beat Alabama.
I'm aware of that. I mean, if you want to go back and just really break down the minute of college football,
which is what we expect the committee to do.
No. I'm just saying, as it pertains to South Carolina. In hindsight, how big was that call that was so controversial in that South Carolina LSU game? Carolina's a 2-loss team right now. I don't know where they would factor into all this, but they're in the discussion.
Oh, they would be in the discussion because, we've talked about this since we went to 12. You are going to get a team that is going to heat up that nobody's going to want to play. And I think South Carolina, look, they were lucky to survive Missouri this past weekend, but that's a really good team.
They would be, their 2 losses would be on the road at Alabama, ball in hand to win it twice.
Correct.
And then to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, who beat them pretty good. I mean, Ole Miss, that was a one-sided game, but a lot of people have an inexplicable loss on their resume.
Yeah.
I mean, they would be right in the discussion, and that all changed on that one call. Because they win that game without that call.
See, that's another show for the SEC Network, Butterfly Effect.
That is a butterfly effect. There's no doubt.
Sit there and do that. That's our McCurry van and car rental spotlight of the day. The long extended with the different branches stock report.
Yes, indeed. McCurry Rentals. They got a lot of branches, Jim, all over North Alabama. See how I did that?
I did.
McCurryrentals.com. That is McCurryrentals.com.
All right. When we come back, trash, and then we'll have some sound to close out the show today. Brock and LT at 1 o'clock today on Unlocked. The show brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher. Did you get by there at all this weekend?
I did on Friday night. I did steaks for the fight, and always fantastic food. I did some of the goat cheese, mashed potatoes on the side, picked up a couple of bottles of wine. They've got a great selection of wine, incredible desserts. And remember, Thanksgiving is coming up a week from this Thursday. If you haven't figured your meal out, Jim and the fine folks at the New York Butcher Shop, they can do it. Their turkey's fresh, all natural, from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. Turkeys, they can also smoke and brine them. They also carry smoked ham, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast, all of their side dishes prepared in-house. Don't forget about the great desserts and wine selection. Taking reservations now, highly recommended. Stop into one of those 2 locations. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and the experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings accounts, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Back with you as we continue to talk college football the day after Week 12. Hard to believe it's Week 13. And you look around to the losses this past weekend, BYU and Tennessee, of playoff teams. Down the way, Washington State got beat by New Mexico, upset alert pick for me. But also LSU, Missouri losing. I wonder how that's going to impact the bottom of the standings and how they manipulate or judge the SEC at the top with what they do at the bottom.
I mean, LSU's got to fall out. I guess Missouri does, though Missouri lost to another ranked team, so you could easily justify them staying in.
You keep them in.
Yeah, on the road. But, I mean, LSU losing, they've got to fall out, right?
Yeah, and did you guys stay up and watch New Mexico and Washington State?
I did.
That was a fun game.
It was a good game, yeah. Actually, the late-night slate was pretty entertaining when you had Kansas and BYU, that game and the UNLV game. That was a pretty entertaining late-night slate.
Not as entertaining as this week.
Oh, what we got, Jimmy D?
We got the victory bell.
Got a rivalry game.
USC, UCLA, but that's the only game you got on here. Is there what else is late?
A couple other games late, but that's the money game.
The last time I think that game was played at 9:30 was Neuheisel's last game, where they got beat 50-0.
Ooh, that's not good.
Where Matt Barkley walked him off the field, and they did the play action pass with a minute and a half to go, up 43,
just to make sure
and
they
hit
knew
it for 50. Yeah,
it's a rivalry game.
But I think that's the last time. They typically play that one at 2:30. But man, I would love to go to that game.
Gray's Tree Service, probably get pretty cheap tickets.
Yeah, that's probably a $10 walk-in, wouldn't you think?
I would imagine.
Hey, our friends at Gray's want to remind you, family-owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. They are the experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. I used the guys a couple of months ago. Fantastic work. Very professional. Gray's maintains that fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. Call 205-281-6100. Scan that QR code right there, or just visit graystree.com.
Okay, and then before Brown tells us about a new sponsor we want you to pay attention to here in just a second. 4th and 10. You just got 10 seconds left. You're Louisville. Game's tied. You throw a Hail Mary. Leaves 4 seconds on the clock. And then you get a pass interference, unsportsmanlike conduct, offside, 52-yard field goal to lose in the final 4 seconds. That's a tough beat.
The unsportsmanlike was the bonehead play because it wasn't some judgment call. This was an obvious unsportsmanlike in that situation.
And you know what's crazy is, like, I loved Louisville. I thought they were going to walk them off the field, and
Probably
they got
should've.
down, and then they got up 28-13, and then they let Stanford come back in, and that was – how Stanford won that game is still baffling.
A terrible loss by Braun.
But are you okay at 35-35 with 10 seconds left at that point trying the Hail Mary?
Well, I mean, 10 seconds, the field position is tricky, but without the unsportsmanlike, they don't get off a field goal.
That's right.
So that's the whole thing is you just can't be an idiot. I mean, what are you doing getting an unsportsmanlike at that point in the game?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the better team. Like overtime would have been a good option.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd probably go and play it for overtime, but without it, you don't get burned on that without the unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
That was what changed everything. Hey, we've got a brand new sponsor here. Not The Office, The Golfist.
Oh, I love that sitcom.
The Golfist, Jimmy D. This is where you go. You want a good corporate outing, team building. We got some video from it, by the way. This is what it looks like. You want a good place you can go and just hang out with the guys. That's The Golfist. Good family outing, The Golfist. What it is Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves. The Vestavia location on Highway 31 in Vestavia is open right now. Trussville opens December 1. 280 opens January 1. It is The Golfist. You can play hundreds of golf courses. Great place to go if the weather is bad. Great place to go if you're just wanting to have some fun. Go play tons of golf courses there at The Golfist. What are you laughing at?
Well, I mean, the winter is about to happen.
That's right.
Today's the last good day of golf probably for a while. This is fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming up that that we're going to be collaborating with the Golfist on, and really excited about this. But I didn't get the opportunity. We had a couple of meetings run over. I know you and Bo went out, but he said that place is
it's
just
fantastic. It is fantastic. Going to be so much fun. Stay tuned for what we're going to do with them. BYOB, by the way, bring your own drinks, bring your own golf clubs. You could see more. TheGolfist.com, not The Office, TheGolfist.com.
So BYOB, I bring my own bag?
You can. Absolutely bring your own bag.
I like that.
With several things in it.
I like that. All right. That's time for trash now. Tyler, reach up there, spin that wheel, and let me know what open we're doing today, man.
Okay, so where's your house?
It's next to my neighbor's house.
Hey, where's your neighbor's house?
Ooh, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
Next to my house.
Step out the car, please.
I'm going to jail?
Yep.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, always buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country while the area they serve may have grown. Their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. IHOP announced today that they are now the official breakfast partner of Xbox. And to kick the partnership off, they are making an entire themed menu inspired by one of Xbox's big holiday releases, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a new game based on the beloved movie franchise. The chick in Modern Family, it's a weird IHOP commercial where the kid really can't drive, so they decide to go to IHOP. You know what I'm
I've not seen
about?
that commercial, no.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen a commercial. Like the girl from...
Yeah, Julie Bowen.
Okay. Oh, okay. The mom.
Yeah, she's the mom, and the kid like backs into a trash can, and she's like, IHOP? And they go to IHOP. It's just
interesting. I've not seen that commercial.
International House of Pancakes. Where's the pancakes in that picture?
There aren't any, Jim.
There are no pancakes.
Yes.
Now, the
For you
centerpiece...
kids, International IHOP is House of Pancakes.
This seems like a lot, and you see it right there. The centerpiece of this Indiana Jones contains 3 variations of stuffed French toast, according to the press release. Now, the Great Circle of Cinnamon, this treasure is layered with rich cinnamon spread, drizzled with sweet cream cheese icing that will make you feel like you've uncovered an ancient culinary secret. Just reading here, by the way. The secret cookie butter, creamy cookie butter and vanilla sauces topped with a dusting cookie crumbles reminiscent of the long-lost treasures found in far-away lands. And finally, the buried treasure, gemstones of juicy glazed blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and a drizzle of rich ice cream icing. You can't help but want to take a bite of this buried treasure. Goes on until December 9th. IHOP will begin serving its Indiana Jones menu on November 18th.
I will tell you, if I ate that, I would be spending a lot of time on the Temple of Doom.
Man, it looks like a lot. Like, that's one of those things I don't know if I want to bite.
I was told last night that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is actually a good film. Have you seen that, Tyler?
I don't know who you heard that from, but that might have been the first person I've ever heard of saying that.
Really? Does Milton agree with you? Milton thinks it's bad too?
I refuse to watch it, Ryan. I refuse to watch
Okay, so you're not even going to give it a chance?
No, I've heard so many horrible things.
Wow, okay.
It looks terrible.
I was told it was
the
good.
Worst thing ever made.
I've never watched.
I'll tell you what I watched after the fight on Friday night. We finally watched Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was funny.
Better fight than Tyson and Paul?
Yeah. A Wolverine, dude. The Logan character is just Hugh Jackman, just pissed off, drunk, hates everything about that Deadpool character. I mean, I was laughing my ass off. It is so crass, though. Like, if you made the mistake of taking your kid to see Wolverine and Deadpool, watch out. My gosh. A lot of pegging references.
I'd be questioning the person who brings the kid to
Yeah.
that. I mean,
parenting.
There's so many opportunities for you to not bring them into that one.
Yeah,
It's the third one in the series.
But you would, I mean, like, even watching that with, like, if you had a first date and watching that,
yeah,
that would be awkward.
A little much. Be a little much.
So,
or just opportunity to open a discussion.
Lee County Sheriff's Office arrested a man who stands accused of attempted burglary while wearing nothing but a white cloth over his head. Boy, is that crazy eyes?
Boy, never catch him.
Now, deputies arrested Gennaro Rossetti, 30 years old, on Friday after the burglary call was made at a home located near Fort Myers. Now, according to detectives, Collar was sitting inside of the home on Thursday night when he witnessed a nude man with a white piece of clothing covering his face attempting to enter the building. Now, while approaching the sliding glass window of the home, Collar activated his home alarm, scaring the man. He then fled in an unknown direction. Upon interviewing with law enforcement, the Collar said that he recognized the man who attempted to enter his home the night before. The man was wearing the same headpiece along with a black backpack and blue clogs. Now, deputies received additional calls regarding a similar incident to the male caller, with witnesses saying they had seen a nude man wearing nothing but a white cloth over his head attempting to enter homes.
Nude man, nothing but a white cloth.
That's it.
That's a.
He has been charged with loitering and prowling.
Okay, we got him for loitering. That's good.
Yes, Lord.
Never want to be arrested for prowling, do you?
Nude man, white cloth. That's good for loitering.
Yep.
Shocking discovery Tuesday morning left residents and beachgoers A little concerned, human head washed ashore.
Oh, wow. That'll get your attention anytime. All right, we've got it covered. That's
Happened
good,
on a
Tyler.
portion of the beach behind the Key Colony 2 Ocean Sound condominium building. Key Biscayne police covered the remains with a blue tarp, roped off the portion of the beach in a yellow crime scene. According to one resident, quote, everybody's extremely surprised. Highly unusual to find a body part on the beach.
Highly
you don't
unusual.
say. Now,
hey, John, 6 more heads, and we've got this duffel bag full.
Wow.
Detectives are on the scene working with a medical examiner to determine the identity of the individual. If it's a decapitation, it's a murder.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, I did not watch The Sopranos entirely, but I am familiar with the episode where they take old boy out on the boat to tell him game over for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he gave him a tequila shot before.
Oh, yeah, they had a few drinks with him.
He knew it was coming.
Well, he tries to talk him out of it, right? Like, I think actually I've helped the situation by being an informant. That's an argument you're never going to win with the mob. Like I think I've made it better for us by being a police informant. Let me share you the ways.
I told him our side of the story.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he had an argument though. He was sort of sending them to other people away from you.
Well, that's what he was saying. Is I've got them on the cold trails. I don't have them on our hot trail. It's probably not going to save your life in that one. Once they've already got you in the boat out in the middle of the ocean, you're going.
Robots back in the news.
I like robot.
Yeah. Viral footage captured by CCTV cameras at a robotics company showroom shows 12 large robots being kidnapped by another manufacturer's robot that convinced them to quit their jobs and follow it.
BS.
The unusual scene has sparked widespread discussion with many calling it both humorous and unsettling. For the past week, Chinese social media has been abuzz about a bizarre incident reportedly occurred back in August at a robotics company in Shanghai. Now, footage captured by the venue's surveillance camera shows a small robot making its way into the showroom at night, slowly rolling over to a bunch of larger robots before engaging in dialogue with them.
Hey, kid, you want some candy?
Asking them if they're working overtime, the little robot manages to somehow persuade 2 of the other robots to, quote, come home with it, and then the remaining 10 robots follow.
I cannot believe she went with him.
Yes.
Now, in the beginning, the video was deemed staged and amusing by most viewers, but then the Shanghai robotics company came out and admitted that its robots had indeed been, quote, kidnapped by a robot created by another manufacturer.
Just swipe right.
Is heaven missing an angel? It appears there was one here.
I mean, this is a problem if they can go off task just, by one simple robot.
This is so staged.
So I watched the video before I put the story in there, and you can see this little guy go up to all the robots and just start beeping at them, and then all the other robots just follow behind him and leave.
Oh, it's scary, Tyler.
He's a born leader.
Convinced them to leave.
It's like a bunch of vacuums.
Yeah. I'm like Dunaway. I think it's staged. I think this company's about to start selling robots, right?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a good endorsement, right?
I assume they're selling them.
Well,
or the robot selling us, Brown.
Maybe they also own the company of the kidnapping robot. So they're like, oh, that's a better robot. It can kidnap the other ones. They own
whole
both
robot
companies.
idea is a bad idea.
I kind of agree with you.
It could be a case of the manufacturer asking other companies to try and break their security to see what they need to improve on.
It worked. I don't think they counted on that, did they?
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home or your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. MortgageRight.com, 205-900-7200.
All right. Couple of more sound bites before we get out of here, reacting to what we saw in college football. But, we talked about Caleb Cunningham, who left Alabama.
Well, he was committed to Alabama.
Yeah. And now he's a commitment to Ole Miss.
That's right. Lost a star.
Was a 5-star, now a 4-star. The old Bama bump. Well, our friends at On3 and 24/7 and ESPN, as they rearranged the stars, there happens to be a guy who got a star, became a 5-star.
Tell me where he plays, Jim.
It happened to be It happens to be Alabama quarterback commit Keelan Russell.
So one guy lost a star when he left Alabama. The star happened to fall to another guy that's going to Alabama.
It's basically the wonderful life of college football Alabama edition.
Stars fell in Alabama.
Yeah,
That's
every time a recruit comes, he gets a star. So Alabama getting the 5-star bump with Keelan Russell, the future quarterback at Alabama.
Oh, there you go.
Remember when Matt Moscato? They went to SMU to get their quarterback.
Hey, think about that. If that kid is good enough to play at Alabama, I mean, how big a loss was that for Rhett at SMU?
Yeah, big.
I mean,
but
if he is that good.
Do you think that guy's ever a starter for a full season?
There's no way of predicting that.
Yeah, so 5 stars.
I mean, he's
across
5
the board.
stars, Lance. He's a 5-star.
So good. Cut one, Tyler, if you will. Hugh Freeze with their 5-star wide receiver. Big weekend in Cam Coleman. Everyone reacting to Cam's catch. And just how the offense looked with 5 touchdowns. So Texas A&M coming to town this weekend. Hugh Freeze, did you learn anything about your offense that could help you maybe beat Texas A&M and maybe Alabama down the road? Here's the Auburn coach.
Well, our third down plan was good today, and we executed it pretty well. And so, we had 2 weeks to work on that, and it was simple stuff that our kids understood and were able to execute. And I think there's a valuable lesson in that is maybe less is more. And let's do what we can do and give our kids a chance to execute in critical downs and critical moments. And we had a pretty good idea of what we were going to get on third down and yardage from this unit. And it might not be quite as easy for some of the others, but still give our kids a chance to make plays instead of maybe carrying a few too many things.
What do you think about that? Keep it simple, stupid.
I think, Auburn fans are excited to see anything work offensively. I do think it's unrealistic to think that all year long your offense has been this one thing. You get a bye week and then magically everything's fixed, right? I don't think any Auburn fan thinks magically everything's fixed. I think they look at that and say, it was a lesser opponent. With all due respect to Coach Vincent and La Monroe, that's not an SEC opponent, right? That's not SEC defenses you've been playing. It was a lesser opponent, and Peyton Thorne got hot. The receivers got open. The challenge now, Lance, is carrying that over against Texas A&M and Alabama. I mean, if you don't do it against those two, people forget what happened Saturday.
Yeah, I do think that there is some momentum. I know it was Louisiana Monroe, and they've been, in the midst now of, a 4-game losing streak under Brian Vincent. But I think this is where Le'Veon Moss is going to be missed for Texas A&M coming into this game.
Need that run game.
Yeah, need that run game. And on the other side, Jarquez coming off another 100-yard game, get him really involved, take a little pressure off of Peyton Thorne. I think Auburn wins this game on Saturday.
Do you now?
I really do.
Early call on a Monday from Lance that Auburn wins this game. Jahad Campbell, listen to him, and then I want you to tell me how you feel about Alabama sticking the landing on the road at Oklahoma and home to Auburn. Here's Campbell, the great linebacker.
We're deep into the season, and just understanding how crucial and how important it is to win every single play, every single down. It doesn't matter what we're doing, we got to win. And that has to be the mentality, the mindset going into everything we do.
Man, this defense is playing so well right now.
Well, I am going to say this disclaimer as clearly and loudly as I can. I know it was just Mercer. I get that it was just Mercer. But Alabama has given up 2 touchdowns in 3 games now.
Well, and the Mercer touchdown, that was a pretty incredible catch.
It really was, yeah.
And they went into the deep dive of the quarterback and how he grew up a Bama fan.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. The LSU touchdown was in garbage time. Mercer scored him a touchdown. Look, I get it was just Mercer. But if you're looking for improvement from this Alabama defense, I think we all agree they played well enough to win the Tennessee game.
I thought so, yes.
In Knoxville. And then since then, they pitched a shutout against Missouri. They allowed 1 touchdown to LSU and 1 touchdown to Mercer. This defense playing better football for Alabama.
Yeah. This is, I would say a top 20 defense right now. And if you get Milroe playing like Milroe can play, this could be the best team in college football when it's all said and done.
It could be building false hope. So keep that in mind. But you're about to go play one of the worst offenses in the conference in Oklahoma. And Auburn's offense has not been good. Now, have they improved some things against La Monroe? We'll see. Lance thinks enough to beat Texas A&M. So you've got enough offense to win that game. But
I think that's a game that you can win, 21-17.
Yeah. You don't have to light the scoreboard up to win that one.
By the way, developing story, life comes at you fast. Just not too long ago, about 2014, the summer of 2015, Kirby Smart and Nick Saban said, man, would you come down, Tom Herman, and hang out with us and teach us what you just did to us in the college football playoffs and let us learn a little bit about your offense? He goes on, becomes the head coach at Texas, gets fired. He's the head coach at Florida Atlantic, where now he has been fired. Florida Atlantic firing Tom Herman today.
Wow.
It does come at you fast, doesn't it?
It does. Mario Cristobal got fired from Florida International.
That's true.
See, Tom Herman, he's got millions and millions of dollars, and I don't know what the future is.
4-8 and 2-8.
Pete Nakos, who's on 3, reports that under the surface he had been searching for some offensive coordinator jobs at the Power 4 level.
He's going to go the Chip Kelly route.
Yeah, so that tells you he knew what was coming. I guess he's still got promise as an offensive coordinator. I mean, there was a time where he was the most valued offensive mind in America, as you said. If I'm a school right now and I hire him as like Wisconsin, they need an offensive coordinator. If they hire Tom Herman, I don't know if it's viewed as damaged goods now. I don't know how excited I would get.
I don't know.
He'll get a job.
Oh, I don't think he'll be unemployed. No, I would agree.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Florida Atlantic, Tom Herman. Put Florida Atlantic now available to negotiate for a new coach. We're back tomorrow on 9 a.m. on this show. LT, in about an hour, has a great conversation with Brock Heward, a little college, a little NFL mixed into that conversation. All that still to come. We're back with you tomorrow, as I said, at 9 a.m. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.